evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dragon's Creek Gaming. Tonight we are playing Sins and Consequences, a Blades in the Dark actual play podcast. Once again, the music from tonight's episode, most of it, if not all of it, is brought to you by Sydney Fable. You can find her. You can find them on YouTube, or you can also check out their band, the Blam Blams, available on YouTube as well. What else do we got going on? You should follow John Harper on either Instagram or Twitter or any of that stuff. John Harper posts some really cool stuff. And he's got his own Blades in the Dark actual play podcast from back in the day. I think it's up on YouTube. It's actually pretty cool just to hear the creator of the game. He's playing like an older version before they even released this one. And so you can kind of see the evolution of the game. And while you're at it, check out the Magpies, just because that's a good one. And those guys are pretty awesome. I'm not going to hold you guys up too much today. We're going to get right down to the action, but first, we're going to introduce ourselves to our players. You know what? Ethan, I haven't heard from you in a while. Tell me about your week. Tell me about your character.
Yeah, all right. So my name is Ethan. I'm playing Vay Helker. He is a spider and has been, in some ways, leading the crew through some good, maybe some questionable decisions. So we're kind of interested to see where that's gonna go. Might have betrayed basically everyone last session and pushed that off. No regrets there. Definitely wasn't thinking about that all week.
Losing sleep,
yeah, huh? A little bit, yeah, definitely.
It's only gonna get better, baby.
So yeah, on my side, just went to see Dune 2 earlier today.
Oh, nice.
Really like that. It was a great movie. Had the pleasure of sitting so about 4 seats down from us was about these 3 or 4, like, I don't know, they're probably like, in my head they were like 8, but to be honest, they were probably like 13-year-olds or that type of thing, and I had to
26.
them. Yeah, I'm getting old. But they were talking throughout the movie, and so it's one of those, I shushed them once, and then 20 minutes later I shushed them again, and then I had to do it a third time, and then like I know like it kind of calmed down, and like 20 minutes later they're kind of up and at it, and it's one of those, I looked at my wife and I'm like, do you want me to deal with this? She's like, no, it's fine, just try to ignore it. And it's in something kind of, I'm like, nope, I gotta go. And it's just one of those, getting up and like walking over, and it's like, guys, you were in a movie theater, you need to be respectful, and like da-da-da. And like they were on a phone type of deal, and I didn't see that, like, the light wise, but like super disrespectful. And I went and sat down, and like my heart was racing, and I don't know why, because like I could take them. There's no threat there. There's no challenge. But like, I was sitting back in my seat, and like I was flying high. I was like, ooh, I can't. And it's just like, I can't believe that's my body's reaction to talking to, like, telling 14-year-olds to shut up in a movie theater. But I'll tell you,
we got Queese this Hatterack over here.
So yeah, no, that was it. I mean, it was challenging, but it definitely, telling them to shut up and then having them actually do it for like the last like 45 minutes, hour, was nice to kind of do that. And so I'm still kind of riding that high right now.
That's fair. Did you ask them to let their knife chip or shatter?
I wasn't quite in the Blades in the Dark type.
No, that's a quiet line from the movie when
oh my gosh.
They're dueling, and he's just like, "May your knife chip and shatter." The other guy's like, "What?" May your knife chip or shatter. That's rad. I'm glad that you weren't maimed by teenagers. So that was really rad. Adam, what are you? Who are you playing this? Who are you playing? And what's your week like?
Who is your daddy and what does he do? All right, so I am playing Ludes. He is a lurk, which means he is a sneaky creep. He's a weirdo. We discovered last week that he's got a lot of nipples. that's about it so far. That's where we're at. So, man, in the past week, let's see. I have not yet seen Dune 2, but I would like to. I got this thing. It's really hard for me to go to movie theaters now because I got the little one, and she's noisy and impatient. But man, it's a weird thing. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but like in 1984, Ghostbusters and Dune came out, right? And then in 2001, Ghostbusters and Dune came out, right? And then in 2024, Ghostbusters and Dune came out. It's fucking weird. Real weird. But let's see, what have I been up to this week? Yeah.
There's two types of people. Do you like Ghostbusters or Dune?
The answer is yes. I mean, obviously. But let's see. This week, what have I been up to? I went to work, so that was cool. I didn't break anything, but a bunch of people broke machines at work, like expensive machines, lots and lots of money. But not my problem. And what else? Dragon's Dogma 2 came out. I don't know when this is going to air, but like it just came out for me. And man, there's a lot of people complaining on the internet because they're all a bunch of suckers and babies. Dude, Dragon's Dogma 2 is rad. It's a lot of fun. If you want to play like an action RPG where you can climb up the side of a Cyclops and jab a knife into its eyeball, like that's totally in there. If you want to, sit on a bench until your apples rot, you can do that. So that's cool. And also, I can turn my knives on fire whenever I feel like it. And it is fun. It is a blast. It's weird. And the characters say weird crap like ought and not and fie all the time. Fie on you! I'm like, oh, fie on me? Fie on you, good sir. And then I kill them with my knives. It's great.
That apple rotting really sounds like a fun mechanic to really kind of get in depth with.
Oh, yeah, dude, you can age the apples to the right point here. All right, spoilers. If you age the apples to the point where they're ripe, you can combine two ripe fruits together and then combine that with some sort of leafy green stick of your choice. There's a few options. You can make an item that will basically refill all of your health. Or you can give it to a girl who's got sick parents. And then she will give you, she's like, I don't have much to give you. All I can give you is this $5,000 ring. It's like, oh, why didn't you just sell this and then buy the fucking medicine? Why, like, the medicine is like 1/8 of the cost of this ring, you idiot. But yeah, I love it. It's great. It's so much fun. And I recommend it highly. Also, I've been listening to the Redacted Reports a bunch. So I don't know if I mentioned that last time, but Delta Green podcast, lots of fun, enjoyable.
Good. They were fighting a penis monster.
Oh yeah, I did mention that last week. Yeah, I'm past the point with the penis monster. They got past that, and it's been entertaining. One of the characters got accidentally got really fucking high at a party by eating I think it was like a cookie or something, or a brownie. As I imagine it's a brownie. I think it was a cookie though. It got real fucking high, and the guys are like, "Oh, where I am, man." It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I'll check that out.
He disappointed his girlfriend, and yeah.
Oh my goodness. Last but not least, we got our my friend and yours, CJ DeBono.
Not my last name, but you can go with that. I'm playing Myri Skell Kalan. She is a leech, and last time she exploded everything with ghosts, as one does.
I saw that happen.
Yes. I unfortunately didn't have time to do it this week, but my plan is to have I have a Photoshop template I'm kind of building out, and once I have it ready, I get to just write a newspaper for you guys every week, and then it'll be released on my Instagram, and on the Facebook as well, just so you guys can see what happens in 3 short stories or less.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yes, you will eventually learn the devastation that you wrought upon Dunslow, the poorest district in the city.
And we robbed them blind.
Well, now it's not going to get to be a district.
Yeah. But yes, you will learn about that. It's not good. I'll just tell you that. But
You did bad things, and you should feel bad.
I'm gonna try not to feel bad. I'm like this. I too kind of mulled over the ramifications of what we did last week. It's like I don't like being mean. I like being nice to the characters. But I have to get rid of that mindset for this game. Like, no, I'm a bad person. I don't care about people.
I have no problem doing that. Oh. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna steal that guy's gun and I'm gonna push him in the lake. You know, that's
Yeah.
Just get a little stabbed.
What if he has a family?
Mine, light-hearted mischief that might be going too far.
I don't think there was any lighthearted mischief. I've definitely seen GMs in games overreact to mischief. I don't think there was any mischief in the last session. It was
I
all
turned
just
invisible
build.
and like took an item from a guy and was like, ha ha ha. I pushed a guy. Like it's all in funning. Have you ever watched Dennis the Menace or Problem Child? That's me.
I feel like
It
if
would've killed
Dennis the
people.
Menace pulled a trigger and like blew someone's brains out and was like, haha,
I
what a
shot no
funny
one.
prank.
I shot no
That's
one.
true.
Remember that he
Actually,
lights
no,
people on fire and
you-
shit.
None of you guys killed me. I killed everyone indirectly with my actions.
Yeah. Yes, you,
Yes.
not me. Yeah, you're a monster. I'm delightful. I'm a puckish rogue. You're a murderer, mass murderer.
Fair enough. and last, last and totally least, it's me. It's Aaron. Aaron, also known as Poultrygeist. I am the GM for this game. I play everyone you're not. I cause all that's bad in the world to happen to you. And that's why the world is so bleak and nothing good has happened to you yet. Yeah, this week, what did I get up to? I watched a bunch of movies this week. I've been on a movie kick. Me and my wife.
Anything good?
Been watching movies like. So we watched Ricky Stenicki actually, and it was pretty alright.
I don't know what that is.
That's the
Is that a
John
Canadian
Cena.
thing?
No, it's a John
Okay.
Cena movie. Where basically a bunch of guys as a way to get away with lying or doing stuff that their wives wouldn't approve of, made up a friend named Ricky Stenicki. And whenever they went to go off and do something stupid, they would just say they were visiting or hanging out with their friend Ricky Stenicki. And then something was coming up, someone was getting married or something, and they were the wives were like, you have to bring Ricky, he's your best friend, guys. You can't just leave him out of this. This is important. We want you to bring Ricky, and Ricky doesn't exist. So they hire the world's most intense method actor, played by John Cena.
I'm like, it has to be John Cena if he's in it and it's about this ridiculous character.
I was gonna say
Yes,
that
and so
sounds like that role would be played by what's that tiny dude? Kevin Hart. It sounds like that would be Kevin Hart, but yeah.
No,
I
it's
thought you were
John
gonna say
Cena,
Danny
and
DeVito.
it was fucking hilarious. Because before then he was playing the role of a drug or an alcoholic prostitute.
Okay.
And so that when he first showed up, he was going through withdrawals because Ricky Stenicki had been in the program for 7 years, so he just quit drinking. But for his previous role, he had been drinking pretty heavily for 20 years.
You say he's like a
So,
method actor, so he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fun.
And that's just the first time you see him, and it's a really funny movie. I did like that. What else did I watch? Oh, I finished watching Delicious in Dungeon. It's an anime series on Netflix.
Oh yeah. Oh, did they finally release the 12th episode?
Yes, they did. Yeah. So
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, so the full season's out now, and I like it. It's delightful. It's one of those food animes, except that they're eating monsters, and
It's
they
very
make
cute.
it seem delicious.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Yeah.
anime.
And then Prosy D is one of the voices, and he's great in
What is
everything
that?
he does.
I don't know what anything is anymore. I don't know what anything is.
That's okay, Adam. That's okay.
It's a YouTube
Basically,
thing,
if
don't
you
worry about
if
it.
you like
what is
kind
that?
of like
What is a
fantasy
YouTube?
dungeon delving, what is a YouTube? That's true. I've never owned one before.
Is that like an internet?
It's like an internet, I think. All right, guys. I don't know what we're talking about anymore, but let's talk about Blades in the Dark. I'm just going to do a quick recap of our last session here, guys. So last session, you guys escaped Iron Hook Prison. So Vey and Ludes worked together to free Bear, who was this large inmate that was in solitary confinement, while Myri did her best to activate a distraction, and it worked a little too well. I don't know if I made this clear or not in the last session, but I just want to say that that was one of the most significant ghost events that happened in the history of the city of Dustfall.
Oh,
and that's because you.
Hey, congrats!
Hey, making history, baby.
Yes, and so that is something to be proud of, perhaps. And it certainly drew a lot of people's attention because it's something that hasn't been done, and it's not all negative, just so you know. Some of it's positive attention, I'm sure. What else did you guys do? You made your way through the district, and in the process, you lost your allies, or at least the people who were kind of hanging on to you, kind of piggybacking off your escape. To be fair, Sawtooth kind of just left on his own, and that's not really your fault. But you did leave Elise and Bear to fend for themselves, and you did so only after you pushed a gondolier into the inky black waters of the sea.
Mischief. That's
We
mischief.
never did check up on that afterwards. It was kind of like, and he's off the gondolier, and we're like, great, and we kind of moved on at that point.
Yeah. So in my mind,
Kill him.
you guys, we kind of slowed down the action when I gave you the choice of whether you were going to bring someone or who you were going to bring, but you guys would have had to move pretty quickly, or else he was going to climb back on the boat.
The decision was to leave the two of them together, so they could work together on an escape on their own. Because if it was, one of them wasn't going to make it, no way. So two of them have better odds together. It was a mercy killing or strategy.
I'm
I'll
sure
just
there were
say
no
this.
hard feelings.
I'll just say this: when we roll entanglements for this session and for the next few sessions, I will definitely be keeping those people in mind.
Oh boy.
But yes, I don't know what happened to them yet because I haven't rolled. But yes, that will be resolved. You guys had a interesting moment where you were in the canals underneath the city, and it's almost like the waters themselves pulled you in a certain direction, and you found yourselves kind of in this spirit-infested area, and you saw imagery of the sun, you saw grass, things that no one alive today, except for maybe the Immortal Emperor and perhaps Lord Skurlock, have seen. Just people that you, through reputation, are believed to be immortal and may have been alive when the sun was still in the sky. But other than that, like, you're probably the first people to see the sun in generations. Or at least what you think is the sun.
Sorry, can you say those names again?
The Immortal Emperor.
Yeah.
And Lord Skurlock. There's like a lot of rumors about Lord Skurlock. He is a noble that lives in Six Towers. And he is believed to be an immortal sorcerer or a vampire. Nobody can decide which.
Why not both?
Why
¿Por
not
qué no
both?
los dos? So his name's
You want to know the
Skurlocker?
answer, you have to interact with him. His name is not Skurlocker, it's just Skurlock.
Okay.
Or was that a joke and I missed it?
That's a joke. If you're from around the Chicago area, there are all these billboards. There was a football player named Urlacher, and like there's all these billboards. He used to be bald. There's billboards with him with hair, and like it's there's like a million of them. And so like you can get your hair back. Look at him. Urlacher's got hair. It's real funny if you are from a very, very specific part of America. If not, though, I'm sorry. I'm wasting your time.
Then.
You're never wasting my time, Adam. I love you.
Oh,
But
thanks,
yes,
buddy.
and then eventually you made your way to Six Towers. That's kind of more or less where we're going to pick up as we kind of figure some stuff out. But before we get into the narrative and the storytelling and the playing of the game, we have to play the game in a more crunchy kind of way for half a second here, because we need to finish crew creation. Now that you guys have had some... Yes, now that you've had some opportunities to get to know some of the factions, understand the world a little bit better, we need to establish a couple of things. One, we need to establish your crew's reputation. And so on the crew sheet, you can click the word crew reputation below the name of your crew, which right now is crew.
I see that.
And it'll come up with a list of words that you guys can add. And so we're going to kind of workshop, like, what do you guys think? Which one of those words best fits how other people might feel about you? The ones who would know you personally, anyways.
All right, so the list says alluring, ambitious, brutal, cruel, daring, ferocious, honorable, monstrous, professional, radiant, savvy, serene, sinister, strange, subtle, and transcendent. In my opinion, I don't think we've done anything to appear as brutal, ferocious, honorable, professional, savvy, radiant, serene, sinister, maybe strange. Probably not subtle. I don't know about transcendent. So I would go towards maybe daring, considering that we exploded ghosts all over the place.
Yes, daring. I also would take ambitious. I would take brutal, but not in like the way that it kind of comes across. We're at a limited use of words. I would almost say like dishonorable as opposed to honorable.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's
well, you got to remember, this is how the
That's
people
nice.
that you were with and who were interacting with you during the score feel about you. It's not about how they can't read your mind. In that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah,
Where
that's
are
fair.
you
That's
seeing
fair.
these words? Where
If
If you
you
click on where it says
click the
crew
word-
reputation.
Underneath the crew sheet, at the very top left.
Or
From the actor's
compendium
tag.
packs.
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
And I mean, like, in other games I've played, like, this is just kind of like a guideline. Ultimately, like, you can use any word in the world you want, and I'll just make a note of it somewhere. Yeah, but I would say ambitious is one way of wording it, daring's another, brutal or strange would be another option.
Maybe transcendent, considering the huge ghost portal that opened up.
I'm gonna hold off on transcendent. Transcendent in this thing would mean like you transcend what it means to be human.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds a bit more occulty, like.
Yeah, you guys are a cult, and so you can definitely achieve transcendence, but you haven't as
Not
of
very.
today.
All people know about us right now is that we broke out of prison. A very big way.
With ghost explosions. I think daring, I like, or ambitious.
Okay.
Or strange. I like those three. Those three sound great to me. I personally am strange, but I feel like daring or ambitious are probably
Yes.
the bigger
And this-
takeaway. Consider we blew up the fucking the prison with ghosts.
Yes, and as I said in our session 0, this can totally be different than how people feel about you as a person, right?
Yeah.
They might be like, this crew is fucking insane, like they're crazy people, but they get the job done. And then they might be like, Lutz is an unprofessional, unreliable idiot.
He smells
Sorry,
bad.
not to pick
Can
on
we put
Lutz.
smelly for the cult?
So yeah, definitely like Ethan and CJ. We're between those three or any of the other words. Where are you feeling?
My
Those three-
thesaurus
oh, go ahead.
brain is kaputs right now, so I can't think of another word. So I'm fine with
Daring, ambitious,
daring
strange.
or ambitious. Daring or
Daring.
ambitious.
Okay. Ethan, between those two, what do you pick?
I want to go with, like let's say let's go with ambitious. Just in that, like, although it was a daring escape, I think kind of talking to the fact that, like, we dealt with, is it the meat hooks? Like this level
The bill
4,
hooks.
the bill hooks. There's level 4 faction and escaping out, and kind of how we took them on and what went on there. I want to say that it was more ambitious. Like there's kind of a sense that it was kind of bigger than where we're currently at.
Yes, actually, and I did want to talk about that because I didn't unfortunately get time to prepare the newspaper thing. What Tarvel was warning Lutz about, by the way, is the bill hooks took over the prison.
Oh.
And so there was like a massive riot that happened like more or less at the same time as you guys were escaping. You guys managed to avoid most of it because it was mostly centered in the courtyard and on the main floor. And Myri managed to get out before then. But that is ultimately what he was warning you about.
I thought I was being threatened. I was like, he is going to kill me in 3 days. I must snore terribly or something. I thought he's like, you better get out of here, otherwise I'm going to hook you.
I thought the spirit warnings were doing some shit.
Yes, and we will get into how Tarvel knew who you were as we play. That is something I kind of have in the back of my head. But there's a reason he knew who you were. Yes. Now, we did most of crew creation in the session 0, but a couple things we didn't do. We did establish your hunting grounds, but pretend you guys only have 2 coins right now. Okay? This is important for crew creation. When you establish a new crew, you need to find yourselves someone who is going to allow you to operate within the city. They're going to protect you from outside people that might hurt you. You're going to pay them. It's expected that you would pay them respects so that they don't act against you. And so you have an option. So in Charter Hall, which is your hunting grounds, you guys said, you need to find a faction that will basically allow you to operate there, and you can do one of 3 things.
Are we in Charter Hall or 6 Towers?
You have a lair in 6 Towers, but you guys do most of your operations, or you're going to be doing a lot of your operations in Charter Hall. And it's generally a good idea to operate elsewhere than your lair, because everything would immediately point back to you if you were not several miles away at the end of the day. And so you have 3 options with this larger faction. You can pay them off, so you give them 1 coin in exchange for giving you guys room to work. You can pay the faction 2 coin as a show of respect and gain a +1 status with them. You can keep your money and take -1 status faction, or status with that faction. So you only have 2 coins during character creation to work with, and so you will have 2 extra coins at the end of it, but you can spend up to 2 coins on this. But I will say that there is also the option to give other people coins on the next page the next thing we're going to talk about. So.
And pulling that layer up, what is the next thing? Like, I know this, just to
okay. If
know
you want to
how
look at
stingy we need to be.
Okay. So when you assign crew upgrades, which we already did, right? So we have the upgrades, we have the quarters, and we have the workshop.
Yeah.
The idea is that one faction helped you get an upgrade. They like you. So you automatically pick a faction that you have a +1 status with. You can pay them 1 coin to repay the kindness, and then you can take a +2 status with them, which brings them from associates to friends.
Okay. And that's for 1 coin.
For 1 coin.
Okay.
And then the other one, though, is one faction was screwed over when you got an upgrade. They don't like you, and you get a -2 status faction with them. You could spend 1 coin to bring that to a -1 status.
I say fuck them.
We only have 2 coins. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So, all right, cool. Yeah, we can pop back into what factions that we're dealing with in Charter Hall.
Actually, I made a faction sheet. You should be able to see it in the player sheets.
Is it in?
I did it now. It's in the actors section.
Faction.
And I just made it. Yeah, so you guys.
Well, it's got a lot of deets in there. Holy cow! All right.
Yeah, and that's only factions that I feel like you guys might interact with. There are more, and I can add more if needed.
Oh, boy.
There's a
15 factions.
You are a fast counter. Take me about an hour to count to 15.
And so within Charter Hall, I'll give you a brief rundown of who's kind of in charge in Charter Hall. The Sparkrights and the Foundation. The Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
That sounds hot.
Actually, it's not. It's not as hot as it sounds. We can get into that after. The Gondoliers are kind of everywhere in the city. Spirit Wardens are sometimes in that area. You know that there's a guy, and I forget his name right now. I'll look it up later. But there's one guy that shows up and does lectures at in the philosophy wing to talk about how great the Spirit Wardens are, and he also teaches people occult practices. But it's theorized that they just put on a costume and it's actually multiple people. The Path of Echoes operate there. And
that's the weirdos that were in the jail, right?
Yes, that was the weirdos with the tattoos in the jail.
Okay.
And then within 6 towers, you have people like Lord Skurlock, the Circle of Flame operate out of 6 towers. But they, and these people that I'm listing, they would all have enough influence that they could help you out even in Charter Hall.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit different. It's not like they're like violently protecting you from harm. It's more like, because Charter Hall is so rich, you kind of need someone to give you the okay to be there.
Okay.
And I would say the Reconciled is large enough faction that they would also have some influence there, and they have their own reasons for wanting more influence there. The Dimmer Sisters also, they're actually in Night Market, but again, they kind of have stores all over the place, and they sometimes lecture at, or a representative of the Dimmer Sisters sometimes lecture at the Charter Hall Academy. Yeah, and then there are other factions, obviously. If you guys have looked through the bigger list, and you have someone, just let me know, because I can make changes.
If 15
I think Spurlocker sounds
we can
like a
add
good.
More.
Yeah, we can go higher. I like Spurlocker, man. I think that's very interesting, and or Spurlock. I'm gonna do my best to remember to say it correctly. I think that's an interesting option. The possible sorcerer vampire, that just tickles my fancy. Him, and then we also had a discussion about the Circle of Flame being a good idea as a buddy faction.
Yeah.
In my opinion, one of those two, I think, is the way we should go.
And this is for your patron, the person who's kind of looking after you. Okay. Okay. And I guess I should say, are you paying them both of your coins to get buddy with them?
Both of the coins. I thought it was one coin.
No. So
we can do 1 or 2.
Yeah, you can do 1, and they will feel neutrally about you. Or you can pay 2 to get a +1 with them.
Okay, so damn.
Or you can not pay them at all and take a -1 with them. And so your best bet, if you want to be buddy with someone, is they helped you with the crew upgrades. And Lord Skurlock helping you with crew upgrades actually makes a little bit more sense. Because then you would very easily get a plus.
That's it. Only 2.
Only 2, and then you have 2 more, but that's not for character creation.
Okay.
You'll probably need that for downtime
or the next score.
We'll make more money. We'll definitely. You know what?
Yeah.
You got to spend money to make money. I heard that somewhere.
You do.
Yeah, let's trust Ludes with all the coin. That's what
Yeah!
could go wrong. But yeah,
right.
you
Who's
got
gonna
my
give it to
vote
people?
for the Circle of Flame. I think having them as kind of our kickoff starter makes sense with how sun-driven we are.
Okay.
What do you think,
That is a good
CJ?
point. That is a good point.
Yeah, I was kind of more to Circle of Flame.
Okay. And so, do you want them to be your patrons, or do you want them to be the people who helped you out building your lair? Because
I thought that was the same thing.
No, there's the people who are your patrons in your hunting grounds in Charter Hall. And then there are the people who helped you build your lair / you hurt to help build your lair in 6 Towers.
Mm.
And so if you reading the book, it's page 93 and 94. So
Yeah, let me just grab that boy and take a look. 93, 94, you say?
Yeah. For those following along at home.
Dude, this is a handsome little book. Like, I like this thing. It's nice and compact, and like it feels very high quality in my hands.
It does. And I'll say this, like for a system that is very one thing I find interesting, and for better or for worse for this book, you can learn everything you need to know by reading between the lines. If you've read the whole book cover to cover like I have. It's very interesting because I know the truth about what Lord Skurlock is, but it's not said in any one place. You have to read in like 4 different places, and like one of them is on your buddies and rivals section on a playbook.
Oh, okay.
Like to discover who Lord Skurlock is. Like it's kind of interesting because it doesn't say it in his faction status.
I like that. It's like there's kind of this puzzle of like, here's a scribble of information which kind of helps bring things to life depending on how detailed.
Something
it's
like that.
It's like playing Dark Souls.
If you are playing as a cutter, I think it is. One of your buddies or rivals can be Nyrex, and Nyrex, it says Nyrex, a prostitute, right?
Nice.
If your playbook is that you start as a whisper, Nyrex is also on there, except it says Nyrex, a possessor ghost.
Oh, that's so cool.
Crazy.
Right? So, like, depending on what playbook you have different information about.
Dude, that's so cool. John Harper, good job. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. I really like that stuff. And I only said that because Nyrex isn't anyone's friend or rival.
That's a cool name, too. Nyrex. I like it.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know if others feel strongly, but I like the idea of doing 1 coin for the Circle of Flame to be our patron, and then another one with Lord Skurlock to have helped out with the lair creation, which makes sense because he is also in 6 Towers.
Okay.
So both in 6 Towers?
So what I'll say is if you spend both your coin, right? So you're spending 1 coin to get 1 faction. So basically, you have 1 faction at neutral, and you spend 1 coin to not make them hate you. Right? If you don't pay a coin to that person, you take a -1 status with them. You can then also spend 1 coin on a different faction, and you can get a +2 with them, or you can just keep a +1 with them for free.
Okay, so if we spend both of the coins, one of those factions will be at 2, and one will be at 1?
No, one of them will be at 0, and one of them will be at 1. And then you have to also pick someone that dislikes you. And you'll start with a -2 status with them. So we'll start with... Well, actually, maybe that's easier. Who doesn't like you?
You know, it'd be easier to say who does. Am I right? Let's see, who doesn't like us the best? I would say, I mean, that gondolier's got it out for us for sure. The blue coats, they don't like that. The spirit wardens for sure, for sure.
Path of Echoes, we kind of stomped them.
Yeah, but like I don't know, I didn't really interact with them in any way, so like I don't know anything about these jerks. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys in particular. Path of Echoes. Fuck them. Bunch of weirdos.
You want to take
weirdos?
You want to take a -2 with Path of Echoes?
Yeah, fuck them. How do you guys feel about fucking those guys?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Path of Echoes is status enemies. So who's helping you out in Charter Hall? We'll start with that.
Yeah.
Which faction is it? It can be Lord Skurlock, it can be the Circle of Flame. But this faction you can at best take a +1 with if you spend both your coins with them.
Okay, so this is different from the patron that we're like. The patron is like the one that we're.
No, this is the patron. This is the person who's allowing you to operate. And what this choice is every time you finish a score, you're expected to pay them 1 coin. If you don't, a clock starts and they will retaliate against you. If you don't pay them now, you take a -1 status faction with them, and then that is also still true. Like, that's ultimately what this is. This person expects you to give them a cut of your score.
Gotcha.
In order to operate in their part of the city.
Ooh, I feel like that could be our, I'm going to call him Vampire Daddy.
Okay. So we'll do Lord Skurlock, and I'm assuming that you're not going to spend both your coins to bring that up to a +1.
Nah. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Is that cool? I don't want to make all the decisions or anything with that.
I don't want to give.
Yeah. It's not great value for your money, but I'll say that. But Lord Skurlock, but you now have an in with this person because you obviously get to meet with him in order to pay him money. And so there's ways that you could improve your relationship with them, probably easier than some other factions.
Compliments. Compliments, cash, gifts.
Yeah. So are we more or less decided Circle of Flames is the person who helped you in some way help establish your lair?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, it says they're a refined secret society of antiquarians and scholars. So I feel like them being kind of our financiers and setting us up in the old library makes sense.
Yeah. And you can spend 1 coin to improve that to a +2 if you would like.
So it starts off at a 1?
It starts off at a 1.
Okay.
Which would make them associates. So, and again, Adam's not making the decisions for all of you. Speak up if you're disagreeing. I'm just kind of going with what I understand the consensus.
I'll speak up if I disagree with Adam.
So we got 1 coin spent, and that puts us at
no coins
even with Skurlock.
Yes.
And we have 1 coin available that we could boost the Circle of Flame to a 2 instead of a 1, or you can spend that coin for something cool.
Yeah, so your options are you can hold on to your coin and it'll carry on past the next score. You can use it during downtime, you can use it during scores. I generally, just as a GMing choice, I'll let you know, I don't usually make bribes cost a coin. Some GMs do in this game. It's ultimately, do you have enough money to pay for their bribe is kind of like a sway or a consort roll of some kind. It depends on the results.
I like that.
Okay. Like, it's always kind of assumed that unless, like, it's stated in the fiction that you guys are destitute, that you always have some pocket money on you.
Okay.
So yeah, like it's one of those things where it's all dependent on the roll. It's not. I'm not going to make you spend coin that way because it's already punishing enough how you do end up spending coin in the game, anyways.
I think I would like to pocket that, but if you guys want to boost this faction status, that's totally cool too.
I just wanted to double check, was boosting with the coin, did that also give us an upgrade, or was it just the
No, so the way that it says it in the book, you got your 2 upgrades, which we went over during crew creation.
Yeah.
One faction helped you get an upgrade. They like you. And you get +1 status with them. At your option, you can spend 1 coin to repay their kindness and take +2 with them instead. So you automatically get a +1 with at least 1 faction. And you can spend 1 coin to establish like a more friendly thing with them. So basically, you can go somewhere between -3 and +3. +3 is allies, which means that like if someone were to harm you, it would be expected that they would help you out.
Or ride or die.
But also vice versa.
Yeah.
Like you would be expected to drop what you're doing and help them out. Whereas if you were at 1, you're associates, which means that you actively don't mess with each other, you stay out of each other's ways, and if you have a business opportunity that would work with them, or vice versa, you would be inclined to talk to them. 2 is friends, which means that like you guys are friendly, but like also you might have differing goals. So it's like as long as you're not actively hurting them or messing with them, you guys can remain friendly, and they'll help you out. Like they might extend you a favor just because they like you.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Is it's like what benefits? Like what are the friends with benefits that you get at level 2?
Yeah. So basically, the one way to do it, or one way to explain it is to give you an example. Let's say you had a level 2 friendship with the bill hooks. You guys were operating in a different part of the city where that was really important to have. The bill hooks you could go to and you could be like, listen, like we need to acquire an asset and you guys have it, or you guys have enough, like we need to borrow money to get it or something. They would do it. But they would be expected that you would do something in exchange for them later.
Got it.
That's what a friend is. An ally, you go and they go like, absolutely. We trust you implicitly to help us the next time we need your help.
This matches my definition of friendship. It's so weird. But
I'd rate you at a 2.
Yeah.
I'll help you, but you gotta pay.
See, I wonder if we should bump it up to a 2, because we do have y'all automatically start with someone who's at a -2 with us, so I wonder if having a +2 would be beneficial.
If I had the option to start that Path of Echoes group at a -3, I would. Fuck them.
I mean, you could. You actually could.
What do I get?
You're at war with them.
Do I gain anything?
Which means that you go... no, you lose all sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Being at war is a pretty big deal.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe we. No, I mean, not the war thing. Not the war thing. That sounds inconvenient. You know, war never changes.
War is one of those things where when it comes up, you got to deal with it, because everything becomes worse. Like you could take more heat because like that faction is fucking with your scores. They start showing up at things to actively hurt you. They start raiding your lair. They start hurting your cohorts. Just bad stuff happens when you're at war.
I don't want to deal with it. Fuck those guys. But like fuck them.
It's a bad place.
Fuck them real hard. But like the more like disregarding kind of fuck them than the open warfare. So I don't know if you guys want to boost that relationship with the Circle of Flame, we could do that, or hang on to the coin. Either way is good. It sounds like you're voting for the boost, CJ.
I'm happy to go with whatever CJ's decision is on this.
Yeah. So yeah, my balls are in your court. Your face.
CJ, I promise you, you guys have 2 extra coin. You're going into downtime.
Yeah.
You can start another score. Money comes and goes, so don't worry too hard about it. Friendships come and go too. So.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's have a.
So
right, we're buddy.
We will boost them up. You guys are friends with the Circle of Flame, which means that somebody probably knew someone from the Circle of Flame before. Just to keep in mind. And it can be any one of you. Circle of Flames, just because you are friends with them. A lot of them are either nobles, people on the city council, or vice purveyors. So like a couple of them own
nice.
some of the brothels in Silkshore. One of them owns a fighting ring. One of them owns a dog track. And I spent your coins for you just so that we're keeping track of that.
Thanks.
All right. And one thing I don't see on this, but we need to make a note of, and so I'm going to look at page 91, or actually, I think it's 105. Nope. What page is it? You guys have a contact, which I'm just going to throw into your notes. So you guys having a contact that is someone who helps out your crew. They are not really necessarily part of your crew, but they're someone who would always come. They'll be able to give you jobs or information that would help you do what you're trying to do, and they're on your side more or less. So we have Gagon, an academic, Adakin, an occultist, Hutchins, an antiquarian, which might make sense because that's exactly who the Circle of Flames are. Moira, a spirit trafficker, Matthias Klein, a noble, or Bennett, an astronomer.
Tell you right there, half those names sounded kind of complicated. I don't want to even consider them.
I don't know how to say your name. I don't like you.
Okay. Do we want
Will
the
henceforth be
what's
known
the
as your
second one?
job.
Yeah. Hey,
his name
buddy.
is Adakin, not Anakin. Adakin.
Not Atticus.
And he's an occultist. In this context, we can play around with what the definition of that means, but in my mind, it's someone who either messes around with the occult or is like a zealot of some kind. But they also might know how to use magic.
Ooh. So how many options do we have? Number of... I'll roll a die.
1, 2, 3. There's 6. There's 6.
That's nice and easy.
Yeah, roll 1d6 and we'll figure it out.
Nope, rolled 2d6. Let's try that again with the right number of dice. Here we go.
What'd you roll?
Uno!
Get that
You
out of
rolled
the
a 1?
way.
That's Gagon, or Gagan. Gagan.
I
Let
was
me
like,
spell the
Gagon?
name after I say it. That's a good sign.
And he's an academic.
I'm sorry, it's what is it?
Gagan. And if you look at
Gigan.
on the crew
Gagan.
sheet under notes, I just threw it on there.
Okay.
Because of your association with this man, you take a +1 status with any faction of your choice.
Okay.
You're also going to take a -1 status with any faction of your choice.
Is this just for any cohort or that cohort specific?
He's not a cohort, he's a contact. So he's someone you
Contact.
know, but you can't boss him around. Like, if you try to
Yeah.
boss him around, he's going to be like, what the fuck's your problem?
Okay.
Does it matter how like encapsulated or broad we make it? Like it's one of those like, you know, if we made it like as part of Lord Skurlock, like to kind of go in there, or is
Yep.
there kind of a preference to say actually we should just pick someone else? It should be like the Spark Rights.
The only thing I'll say is it is not in your best interest to make him the -1 status go into the Path of Echoes. You're already
Yeah, 'cause
enemies with
that'll
the
kill us,
Path of
yeah.
Echoes. But if you're at war with a tier 3 faction, right off the bat, that's a horrible place to start.
You're gonna die.
Okay. Here's my proposition, right? -1 to the Spirit Wardens, because it feels like it's appropriate considering what we've already been through. And a +1 to somebody else.
So wait, did we just decide? Can we backtrack? Did we decide to go with the academic, or were we?
Well, how do you guys feel about that? That's what he rolled. He just kind of rolled the dice.
Yeah, it's rolled.
How do you feel about Gagon? Are you disappointed in that answer?
I don't like his name.
Okay.
Like it's unless his last name is like my balls or something like that. Like I'm not into it.
I don't think you're gonna be happy with any of them.
Gag on my balls. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Hutchins, an antiquarian. Moria.
I think that's the guy I was thinking of. Hutchins. That's easy.
The antiquarian.
Antiquarian.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking him on the list.
And antiquarians in this context, I believe, are people who collect antiques.
I thought you were going to say something weird instead of like what the word means.
It makes sense. I just did not bridge it. I'm like, oh, like, he's,
I'm not gonna lie, I had to look it up. As soon as you guys started talking about the Circle of Flames, I was like, what the fuck is an antiquarian? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm dumb, but
maybe it's no. I don't know. But I thought you were saying like antiquarian, like he collects magical relics. I'd be like, oh, okay.
Old aquariums.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are.
That means he's an Aquarius. That's his sign. It means that he doesn't like conflict or some kind of bullshit. There's mercury in your Gatorade. All right, so
water.
yeah, I like this guy. What's his name? Hutchins?
Yes, Hutchins.
Hutchins. That's a cute name too. I like it.
Sorry, Gagon.
Okay.
I'm not.
The thing is about the past.
You're out of here, pal. What does Hutchins do for us?
Whatever you want him to, really. I don't know who he is because we just made him up.
No, I thought he had like some kind of stats or something that he does for us.
No,
or all of them do the same thing.
Okay, so yeah.
No, so the way that this game works a lot of times is once you establish what an NPC is and what they're kind of do for you, that's what they do for you.
Oh, but I mean,
and
like
until then,
like, he gives us the +1 -1 as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
what I meant. I was thinking maybe each of these different dudes had a different like.
No,
this guy gives you.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So now, based off of who we kind of understand Hutchins to be, he's someone who collects old relics and old things from before the Cataclysm, a lot of which are in the Deadlands. Yeah, take a +1 with any faction that you want. Take a -1 with any faction you want.
So here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we do a +1 with the Dimmer sisters. I know they've kind of come up being interesting. And then I think we take a -1 for the Railjacks, which I remember in session 1, I ended up saying that was the company that I worked for before getting sent to jail. And so I like that as far as a nemesis on that side.
Okay.
So I definitely like that as the bad guy choice. Here's my thought. If we choose the Circle of the Flame, we can refund our 1 coin.
That's true.
Let's do it.
I feel like this dude being our in with the Circle of the Flame, makes a lot of sense.
I'm okay with just not spending that coin at all then, because I didn't know we were gonna get another faction that we're chill with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did put the coin back into your crew sheet.
Cool.
So you have.
Yeah, I like that, and it makes a lot of sense because this guy's an antiquarian, and like somehow we know this dude ahead of time, right?
Yes. At least one of you would know him, and
so like
the way that I like to play that is. The way I like to play that is I will randomly ask you to volunteer, and then you're going to know that NPC. and
Okay.
we'll explain. And I force you to improv with me in the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
But I feel like that makes sense, right?
So-
He's like our in with the Circle of the Flame. So he's like an antiquarian. He's like, oh, yeah, I know these guys. And then that's our deal.
Yeah. And so I'm going to delete everyone you have a neutral attitude towards, just so that this page is not inundated with like a million things to like pay attention to.
That
it's
list
just
already looks
assumed-
much more manageable.
Yeah, keep Skurlock on
I
there,
just
though.
wanted. Oh, right. Yeah, I gotta go.
He's a
right
special
back.
neutral guy.
Especially
Yes. And so you did pay him 1 coin. So he's happy with you. And we will roleplay that in 1 second. I have one more question for you. You get to choose a favorite operation type. And what that means is that when you do that, you gain extra experience going forward.
Okay.
So we have acquisition, procure an arcane artifact or attune it to your god. Augury, do what you must to attract your god's attention and counsel. Consecration, anoint a place for your deity. Or sacrifice, destroy what is valuable or good in honor of your god.
I like options 1, 2, and 4.
What was 2 again?
Augury. So you'll receive some sort of basically it's do what you must to attract your god's attention. And we can kind of play around again. I'm not 100% sure if you are going the route of having a deity specifically, or if you're following an ideal.
So I was kind of leading 3.
We did talk about it off air a little bit, so we'll get into that. But yeah, so Augury, in this case, it may be that you guys receive some sort of prophecy or like vague message, then you like try and decipher what it is, or like you may also just be like, listen, we need this to pay attention to us, and so we're gonna go and cause some shit until it pays attention to us.
Oh, like, cause like we got that one vision, so like we try to do stuff, shit again until we get it makes more vision.
Yes.
Well, and yeah, so like 2 is getting attention, and then 3 is like an area, like anointing an area, which like I can definitely see that lining up. Yeah, so I would say 2 or 3.
2 or 3, and Adam did not like 3. He hated 3.
I didn't hate 3. It was my least favorite.
That's fair. So, and you were leaning towards Augury as well there, CJ. So it sounds like Augury is maybe the one.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's something for me to keep in mind, that you guys will receive messages at least occasionally. Augury, what was it called? Favored operation. Mission type. And also your deity or your ideals. We need 2 features from the following list: alluring, cruel, ferocious, monstrous, radiant, sinister, serene, or transcendent.
This is for the god.
Yeah, if you guys are doing a god or the fake god or whatever, but like this is kind of the reputation of the thing that you guys are worshiping at some point in the future.
I mean, radiant, right?
I was gonna say it was the
radiant.
sun.
That's the
praise the sun.
Praise the sun god.
Praise
Praise
the sun.
Praise it.
Okay, and one
Hey,
more.
bro, do you
from
even
that
praise?
list. Is it radiant and sinister, or is it radiant and serene?
I don't know about
Radiant and
serene.
transcendent. Okay.
Okay, so if we choose radiant and transcendent, then we're some kind of like UFO cult kind of situation where we're trying to like transcend, like, oh, go into the sun. We'll fly to the sun and it'll be peaceful and beautiful.
We're like trying to make a new sun or something. Like however we misinterpret whatever that vision was.
Make it
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You might
okay,
not
where's
even
this-
know that.
sell suns and sun accessory.
This is page 108 in the book, if you're looking at it.
Yeah, let's look at that again real quick, yeah, and see. I think Radiant is like a faux show, and then there we go.
Other options are alluring, cruel, ferocious, monstrous, sinister, serene, or transcendent. And I'll give you a peek behind the curtain. If you guys don't have a god, you're going to accidentally create one.
Oh, I love it.
What about monstrous?
Baby god.
Considering it's the sun.
Right? It has nothing to do with how you guys act.
Oh man, I don't know. Where's this list of words? I'm not seeing that list of words. Oh, there it is, right there, under. Yeah, I see it. Alluring, cruel, ferocious, monstrous, radiant, sinister, serene, transcendent. Well, radiant for show, and maybe I don't know. Alluring.
That's fair. I mean, there's more than one way to do bad things. It might not be from like a cruel or monstrous perspective. It may just be like, this is my nature and I'm sorry.
Oh, and the sun is like to bugs, right? Like a flame is alluring.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Oh yeah.
CJ, what do you think? We need a woman's perspective.
Do radiant.
Could you radiant twice?
That was super radiant. I was just wondering serene because like you only get those like little bits of like sun like for like not even a half hour.
It's
so,
like 2 minutes.
So like no alluring. I'd say like that, just that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
alluring.
That's fair.
Like that makes more sense. What the train of thought I was going with of like, oh, it's only there for like 2 minutes, so it's like of course you want to see more, so it's that pull.
All right, and because I don't like looking at the word crew in the list. I'm going to ask: do you guys have a name for your cult in mind?
Funtime Sunshine Crew. No. Okay.
I'm going to suggest something along the lines of like Dawn Breakers, Flame Seekers.
Dong Breakers.
And it can totally change. I like it literally is just I don't like looking at the word crew. The problem is there's already a Circle of Flame, and that's such a badass name.
We could be Soul Seekers, but Soul is SOL, like sun.
Oh, that's clever.
Oh,
there we go. I'm sorry, that's awesome. That's what it is now. Okay. And I just made that change there. Okay. And that is it. And so we will enter into downtime, guys. So we'll enter into downtime and free play, and we're probably going to switch back and forth. Free play is exactly what it sounds like. You guys can do anything you want. As long as you're not making rolls or receiving benefits that you would get from a downtime action, you can talk to anyone you want. Do anything you want. If you want to say your character goes to a restaurant and it's not like taxing, and you just want to have a conversation with your buddy, that's something you can do at any point in time, as long as you're not in the middle of a score. So this is where we get to learn about the lives of your characters. And so we're going to enter into free play. And so you guys had just gotten off of this gondola. You kind of maybe pushed it back out into the lake because you don't want it tied to where you guys docked off. who wants to volunteer to do some improv with me?
Everybody raise your hands at once.
Oh, nose
All
goes.
right, CJ, it's you.
CJ.
CJ, it's you.
Oh boy.
So, don't worry, I'm not gonna make it too hard for you. So you know someone. His name is Hutchinson, or Hutchings. Hutchins. Yes, his name is Hutchins. You know he lives somewhere in Six Tower. You do know exactly where he lives, or he frequents a coffee shop, let's say, in Six Towers. And you guys need a place to lie low. You just had this experience, and maybe you realize that, like, yeah, you guys are wanted. Like, perhaps, like, there are even like patrols moving the street of like blue coats. They're carrying around posters of poorly drawn pictures of Myri. They don't look anything like you, but you know yourself well enough to know that it's supposed to be you.
They just can't get my nose right.
And so, like, fortunately, you're not at risk of being arrested, but you guys should probably lay low for a little bit. And so you go and you meet your friend Hutchings at this coffee shop, where you know he would tend to be during this time of day. Or night, because it's hard to tell the difference. Yeah. So you're still presumably wearing those kind of rattier looking clothes that you got from the poor people in Dunslow when you enter into the shop. And sure enough, you see Hutchins there. He is, I don't know, how old do you think Hutchins is there, CJ?
Probably early 30s.
Okay. So you see him there. He's in his early 30s, and he's talking to the server, the barista, like the person who runs the cafe, who is like an older woman, and she's very patiently just kind of nodding as he seems to be talking her ear off. And you can kind of hear him going on about antiquities and interesting finds that he's had, good deals he's made recently. You can tell she's not really paying attention, but there's nobody else in the coffee shop right now. And so she's just kind of forced to talk to him. But when you enter, there's like a little bell and it rings. It goes like ding-a-ling. And both of them kind of look up towards you, and Hutchins' eyes grow wide in excitement. He's very excited to see you.
Now, my man Hutchins, how about you leave that poor bartender alone and speak to somebody? I can.
Are you okay there?
No.
Are you okay?
Does it look like I'm okay? Look at me, sir. Do I look like I'm in a good position right now?
I've certainly seen you better dressed. I'll say that much. Here, come have a seat. Have a coffee. Or tea. You like tea, don't you?
Yes, I'm usually more of a tea lady myself, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to skip that for now. I'm in quite a bit of a rush tonight. Not the best of nights for me. I guess you could say I have the eyes of some unsavory fellows, and I'd like to lay a bit low, if you know what I mean.
Well,
you know how it is for a lady on the street, just men always coming out of nowhere, just thinking they can just drag you away,
Yes. You know what? The timing is good. Do you know the Circle of Flames?
I think I've heard them now and again.
Heard of them, I suppose, yeah. It'd be hard to know them. They're quite wealthy. But they've reached out to me and a couple of other collectors. They are looking for some people to help them out in their time of need. It seems they're looking for something specific. And so, yes. Why don't you, do you know where the old university is? Kind of just...
I think I have a good idea of where that is.
Yes. I believe it's, if you're looking for a place to lay low, it's abandoned. I've heard there's a couple of spirits around there. Maybe a couple of stragglers or whatever.
Oh, those are just fun little fellows,
Yes, mostly echoes, I believe. Most people just leave it alone. But if you're feeling brave, I guess that's a place for you to sleep. I will talk to my people at the Circle of Flames, and if you agree to do some work with them, I think they'd be happy to set you up with some quarters there.
Well, you are just an upstanding gent, and I must thank you again for just... You know what? Yeah, we have to... You know what? We just have to, at some point, get together when I am not in a very bad situation, and you know what? Just have another chat sometime.
Absolutely. Get yourself some nicer clothes, and we'll sit down for dinner.
I will take you up on that.
All right. Best of luck to you. Head over to the university. By the time you get there, someone should be by to help you out shortly. And so, yeah, we can end that there. You kind of hustle out of the thing. Conversation went surprisingly well. Hutchins is a well-respected man. You also know that he's all talk. He's dirt poor. He's he's a house poor noble, and so he kind of just makes his money by selling off bits of his like ancient estate.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And so like, yeah, he's all talk. Like, but he seems to have impressed somebody enough that maybe someone who actually could help you out is willing to speak with you. And so, yes, you do make your way to the university, and within like an hour or two after the three of you get there, you see a couple of laborers. They're wearing the signets of the Foundation. They show up, and they just proceed to build you guys a quarters inside the library.
Nice.
They throw together some beds. It's nothing fancy, just some cots and whatever. But and they also they say that they'll be by within the next few weeks to finish refixing the wall, if you plan to stay here. And one of them leaves you a missive. It's got a little symbol of the Circle of Flames, which is a circle made out of flames.
Oh, very clever. Masters of spycraft, these guys.
Oh, it's, yeah. I mean, it's an open secret society, right? Like, but inside, they give you an address, a time, and a date. And it's probably about 4 days from now to meet at a manse. Or, I mean, I keep calling it a manse, which is not what I mean. At a mansion in the northern side of Six Towers in 4 days.
But a reverend does live there. No.
Yes, yeah, a minister lives there, so it is a manse. All right. So we got your lair started. One more thing, I keep forgetting to ask you about this. Who is your cohort?
Oh yeah,
Or
we got
cohort?
one buddy, right?
One or two. These people are kind of loyal to you in some way, shape, or form. And they are basically cultists. Like they are the first members of your cult. And so
Oh man. Oh.
So sorry, we as a group have one or two cohorts, or
Yes.
we individual? Okay.
so this
All
is
right,
a crew
first off-
upgrade.
I think we should have two. I think that's better than having one. What do you guys say?
That's
Yeah, we can.
Nice.
Bit more
Okay.
lore, but I'm sure we can do it.
Oh, dude, I can come up with at least 4.
Yeah.
So here's
And so
my first thought.
They are adepts, by the way. That's what they are, and that's kind of like that means that they're scholars, occultists,
Okay.
researchers, things like that. They're not thugs. They're not
Oh, I got
thieves or anything like that.
Okay. So, have any of you guys seen the movie Screwed?
No.
No, with what's his name? Norm Macdonald and okay. So,
No, I have not. No.
okay. It's great and you guys should watch it. Danny DeVito is in that movie, and he plays this this guy that is what's the term for it? I think he's like a mortician or something. He deals with dead bodies, and they go and they meet him. He's like, there's all sorts of things you find in people's butts, and it's great, and I think it should be that character. His name was Grover Cleaver in the movie.
Okay. Any other pitches? I have a couple ideas, but I want to hear what you guys think first.
I do really like that. The idea of having someone that...
A mortician, I think, is the word you're looking for.
I was thinking Danny DeVito, whatever the role is that is his occupation and lifestyle choices. But
that's fair. This will be the second game I've recorded for Dragon's Greed where Danny DeVito becomes an NPC.
What else was he an NPC in?
I made him the Grinch in the Christmas special.
Hilarious.
Okay, yeah, like a mortician played by Danny DeVito, or like he can just be Danny DeVito playing himself. Danny
It's
DeVito
just a weird guy. He's
world.
a weird guy. Okay, here's my thought. Right, this weird dude is like a librarian who's still there in the library, and like he's been trying to organize stuff, and he's like, oh hey, you guys are here. Great. Are you here to help organize stuff? And it's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, great. Let me get you guys some sandwiches.
Okay, that's great. That is exactly where I was gonna go as far as recommending like cohorts. Is it's like they come with the building. It's
yes.
like it's their library. They're doing things, and it's like, oh, all right, other people are here, right? And that's just like they're handling things already, and you just start telling them what to do.
Okay. So we got the pitch for Daniel Deraviso is how I put it in.
Is that okay?
That's his name. That's his name now. Is Daniel Deraviso, the librarian. And
can he call it? Can he say library? He's a librarian.
Is a librarian?
Librarian, like he says it wrong. I think that's funny. Hey, welcome to the library.
Yes, and
nice. But then he says strawberry.
I'm gonna put someone in, and unless you guys hate it, he's gonna be a thing. His name is Holton Grudge.
Love it.
And he is a professor. Or he was a professor before he was murdered, and now he is an echo.
Oh, what does that mean?
So an echo is a spirit who continues to do the last thing that was on their mind or that they were trying to do before they passed away. And they just kind of repeat the actions.
Is he like permanently grading papers?
No, he's permanently performing a lecture.
Oh God, I hate him. I love it.
Oh. That is cool. That is a cool haunting.
Yes. And for fun, because I was thinking about this week, obviously. His class was the last class he was trying to teach, and he hates this course, was the ethics of spectrology.
Okay. So he's...
Or introduction to ethical spectrology.
So he's ethical. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. I love him.
Yeah. And so yeah, you guys make your way to this library, and these foundation members they start building a quarters, and you see like a man kind of just watching you from like the big librarian's desk. Ethan, how old is this man?
He is he's actually quite old. He's in his he's so old. He's in his late 30s. No. We're gonna put him in his mid 50s.
Okay, he's in his mid 50s. Yeah.
Which I think is decently old for this world, right?
Is this our Danny DeVito?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he could be Dan DeVito age, and I think Dan DeVito is 62. in real life. But no, this can be younger Danny DeVito when he first started on It's Always Sunny. But yeah, you see Daniel Deraviso, who happens to look like real life Danny DeVito.
No relation.
He's got those big glasses on his face, those Coke bottle glasses, and as you guys enter and as these workers start kind of just throwing cots up, he looks over to you and he's like, welcome to Duskfall University. How can I help you? Are you here to take out a book?
We're here to help maintain the property. We've been just in contact with, well, I don't know, Myri, if you want to give a few more of the details, but you can think of us as fellow studiers.
Sorry, is one of you the dean? I've been waiting for the dean to approve my raise. I haven't been paid in quite a while.
Oh, that's me. I'm the dean. It's shut up. Why are you laughing? I can pay you later. You're gonna get a raise. You're gonna get a raise. I think you're doing a great job here, and I think you deserve a good raise. But tell me, my arm's pretty fucked up. Do you got any idea how to fix this thing here? And I hold up my fucked up arm. It's dead, I guess. It says on my character sheet, I've got a dead arm.
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's severed a couple nerve endings. You're definitely gonna have to let it heal for quite a while.
Yeah, like I lift it up with the other arm. I'm like, this thing's it's a wacky, noodly piece of shit right now. I gotta, I gotta fix it.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physiker. I'm not a healer of any kind. One moment, and you see him. He stands up, and he's like 4'9".
Nice.
You know,
he stands up, and he's suddenly shorter than he was.
Yeah, exactly. He had like a nice tall chair. And he kind of gets one of those swiveling ladders. He climbs onto it, and he like pushes off like a skateboard.
Oh, it's like the kind on like the rollers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he climbs up,
So cool.
and he grabs a book. He comes back down, and he hands it to you, and it's a book of known places of healing in Duskfall.
I try to pick it up, but my arm is stupid, so it doesn't work. Then I switch to the other hand.
Yeah, this edition was released in 835.
I think that's the equivalent of like RTFM of like, how do I do this? And it's like Google.
Yeah.
Well, this man's our Google. I love it.
Yes, and so hold on to that book for now. When we get into downtime actions, we can talk about healing. But yes, you meet this man. As the dean, you should know we only have one lecturer left on staff. I think he's dead, but he's still there. Yes, he's quite ordinary, and he's very upset. He really only speaks of his lecture, and then he requests tenure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you guys go with it. You give him tenure, I guess. I don't know what that is.
But at some point, you should probably speak with him. Yes, you'll find him in the East Wing. In the philosophy, in the fine arts section of the building. In the philosophy wing. Yeah. So we'll start. Again, this is a combination of free play and downtime. The last thing we did not do at the end of last session was roll for entanglements, and so I'm going to do that right now.
All right, let's get entangled. Quantum entanglements.
Okay, so we rolled a 2 on the die, which means we get my choice of flipped. One of the PC's rivals arranges for one of your contacts, patrons, clients, or a group of your customers to switch allegiances. due to the heat on you. I'm going to say that one might not make sense. And then we have interrogation. The Bluecoats round up one of your PCs to question them about the crew's crimes. How did they manage to capture you? And so, yeah, one of you volunteered to be captured. You guys are getting interrogated.
Oh boy. Let's see. What does it say here? It says that we can either pay them off with 3 coins, which we can't do, or they beat you up.
And you can resist each of those consequences separately.
Okay.
I'll
if you have stress
I'll
to
get beat up.
Okay.
Lutz is kind of a little damaged at the moment as well. Maybe like I'm also fine if Vay ends up going out for a walk.
Okay, you guys don't know this because you haven't played the game a lot. Oddly enough, it is actually better to let someone who already has harm get harmed.
Oh.
Because everything clears at the same rate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'll just say that because otherwise you're going to spend even more downtime actions healing than you would if you just let Vay take the harm.
All right. Well, then, after a quick back and forth, I think it's fair to say that I don't know. Maybe Vay and Lutz had a quick conversation, kind of huffing puffing, and instead of Vay walking out the door, maybe Lutz does.
Yeah. So thanks for the book. I guess I'm gonna take a walk, try to find out about a doctor for this arm. And I'm out, walking around and like looking at the book and be like, I can't read. And I just kind of wander around for a while and try to find a place with a doctor for my dead ass arm, and that's where I get jumped.
Yeah. Yes, so you actually make your way over to there's a physiker. There's 2 physicers, but you don't know that one of them is a physiker because they don't have a marked building. But you go to the one place that is marked, which happens to be Sawtooth's.
Oh.
Surgeries and sundries. But it's closed right now. It's boarded up. No one's home. The lights are off.
It's never stopped me before.
And yeah, you go to break in to see if maybe there's some medicine or something you can steal from in there. And when you do, you see coming around the corner is your old pal, Darmit.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And he sees you and he's like, "Oh, hey, man. Long time no see, Lutz." What do you know your name's, Lutz?
Yeah, definitely. You probably wouldn't call me that. You probably called me either my first or last actual name.
Okay.
Or both, like a disappointed parent.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, hey there, Acton."
Yeah. I was on vacation for a little while, and I'm back.
Yeah.
And
don't worry, it's just like old times, eh? And he whacks you in the back of the head with a cudgel.
Yeah, sounds right.
Eyes
roll back and then hit the ground and lose consciousness.
Arm flopping everywhere.
Yeah, my stupid arm, like I land on it, it like breaks in half. I'm like, ah!
How much do you want to hate this guy?
Oh, I already hate him. So let's go.
Okay. So you're passed out, and just before you do, you kind of have that moment where you're just like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? And then you remember what your problem with him is, what his problem with you is. You guys fell in love with the same woman years and years
ago. It's her.
And so yeah, tell me a little bit about this woman. What's her name?
Oh man, her name is Mandy.
Okay.
Mandy.
All right. So you grew up with Mandy. Yeah. You grew up with Mandy and you grew up with Darmit. The 3 of you were kind of street kids together. Growing up in, you want to say Coleridge?
The streets.
Okay, you're on the streets. You know, you kind of make your way between the different markets. And things like that. You grew up together. Mandy was always nice to you, but you could tell, like maybe you couldn't tell, but almost everyone else could, that like she didn't like to look at you. She always
kind of nipples.
Yeah. It's just there was a few things off about you, and she never quite knew how to express that to you. And over the years, the three of you kind of had a weird dynamic where Mandy and Darmot, they really they were using you, whether you knew it or not.
Oh, brutal. I had no clue. Absolutely none.
But one day, you told Mandy that you had feelings for her. And she rebuffed you. It was not kind. She was very, very clear that she did not like you. And what did you do after that?
Oh, I mean, that's probably the first time my guy found the old drugs. Shooting kind. Oh, yeah. The hard stuff. I don't know. Morphine, probably, I think, is what would be appropriate at this juncture.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
dude, he's morphin'. It's morphin' time. So that's the first time that he's like, hey, you know what? Things aren't really going my way. I might as well, take a little break, to take the edge off.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think we'll come back to it the next time you interact with Darmot. But at some point, you and Darmot had a huge falling out. And ever since then, your relationship has been very, very negative, intensely negative. And so when you wake up, you are in the Blue Coat station. You are tied to a chair.
Oh, boy.
And Darmot is there, but he's just watching as like 4 other Blue Coats, one of whom is a little bit older and has like a sergeant's insignia on him. They start asking you about what happened in Dunslow, and it's a coincidence that Darmot kind of pinned that you might have been an escaped prisoner from Dunslow. He actually didn't know you were there.
Oh.
And so he had lied to them, but they start questioning you about it. And so at this point, yeah, are you gonna pay 3 coin, or are you gonna take your beating?
Oh, I got to get my ass kicked.
All right. Also, I'll show you the art for Darmot because I have it.
Oh boy, let's see this piece of shit. Oh, look at that asshole. I hate him so much. He looks like a cartoon friggin' Disney prince asshole in a blue coat with a fucking $1 million smile and nice eyebrows and cool hair. I hate him.
Perfect chiseled jawline and chin that goes for miles. God,
he's so happy.
What on that shit. No pores whatsoever.
None. I'm that guy in the back there with the hat. That's me.
Part of the car that might or may not hit him.
Part of the car. No, I'm the little guy off to the side. Yeah, don't worry about the car. I'm gonna go like this and cover it up with my thumb. There you go. Problem solved. Fuck this guy. Look at him. He looks like he'd be an anthropomorphic fox in a cartoon. What an asshole.
But yes.
I hate him.
And so yeah, he's watching, and they start interrogating you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you escaped from Ironhook, did you?"
Escaped from yeah. yeah. I'll do it again. And again, and again, and again.
Yeah, how about we break your legs and see how far you run? And unless you've got something for me, says the sergeant.
What are you looking for?
Money.
Anything else? I don't have any money. You kidding me? Homeless.
So you can tell them. So you can tell them what they want to know, and you can take 3 more heat. You can let them break your legs, and you can take a level 2 harm, or you can pay them off with 3 coin.
I'm gonna. Oh my god. I don't know what heat does, but like, my guy's not gonna sell out the his 2 best friends in the entire world. These people have not done terrible things to me yet. So, yeah, goodbye, goodbye legs. So I've got 1 arm. Yikes!
All right.
Sorry.
Are you going?
Oof.
Are you going to resist that consequence?
How do I do that? What does it look like?
That's exactly the same as you would last time. So you would roll. I would say either resolve or prowess. To I'll say reduce it to a level 1 harm instead of having 2 level 2 harms.
Do I get any kind of modifiers to this?
A prowess roll, you would roll 2 dice. A resolve roll, you would roll 1 dice.
So no modifiers,
and then
just straight up?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, before you do that, I should point out that you are taking 6 dice, less, or 6 stress, sorry, less the number that you roll. But you just did it, and so you actually managed to do this for 0 stress.
Cool. All right.
I love to, like, hold off on that dice roll, and it's like, it was a 6. I really hope we keep that dice roll.
Yeah,
Right, I was like,
but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
yes. Just here's a spare one, just in case. Just in case, so I can. Still a 6. Get fucked. Yeah, totally good. But you know what? Let's go.
No, you're good.
Why not? Let's. Whatever. We're gonna just keep on rolling 6s, baby.
God
There you
damn.
go.
Okay, stop. Save some for later.
Yeah, save some for later.
I waited the
And
digital
actually,
dice.
you know what? Don't worry about marking off stress. Darmit is gonna step in, and at first you're kind of like rocking in the chair as they're trying to break your legs, and you're almost like making fun of them as you like of like bounce around, and like they're trying to hit you, and you just kind of hop back.
Oh
And
yeah,
you do that a couple of times. Darmit comes in, and he just puts his hand on the sergeant soldier, and he's like, "Listen, this guy's nothing. He just wants to go back to prison because he's got nothing. He's probably just better off fucking dying in the streets like he deserves." He says that with this like shit-eating grin and his handsome face.
I hate his fucking face. Oh my god, I hate his face. I hate his face. Oh my god. It hurts
There's
worse.
a reason
it hurts
I
worse than the beating.
that actually took me a bit of time to get. I wanted that perfect face, like where it's like, yeah, he took your woman, and you know what? It's because he's better than you.
That's true.
That's
true. It's because he's got an appropriate amount of nipples.
And you're like, I want him sexier than Daniel Radcliffe.
Just that perfect amount of like.
Exactly. So this ridiculously handsome man kind of belittles you, emasculates you, and you don't even get hit. They just throw you back out onto the street. Congratulations, you didn't get hurt.
No, I got hurt.
Take 1 emotional
damage.
Yep. All right. Well,
so
where do I go to find more morphine?
Okay, so yes, we can get into, now that we've done payoff, heat, entanglements, we get right into downtime actions. And so we can start with Adam. Adam, what would you like to do? And if you're looking at the okay, so you want to indulge your vice, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Is what you're getting at?
Yeah, what's that do? I don't know what that does, but I want to do that.
Don't forget, we also have ether. There's options.
No. That's for
Sawtooth isn't around right now, is what I'll say. He's off doing something. I know where he is, but you don't get to know. Okay, the good news is that you have 6 stress, so you can't possibly overindulge. So have at it.
All right.
So you are going to make I think if you click on the dice on the left-hand side, you can do Indulge Vice Roll. And then you're going to set your stress, which is exactly 6.
I'm sorry, where's this?
And
Like on the far left under the anvil, there's die there. And
yeah, like where all like the target and the token controls and stuff are. At the very bottom, there's a set of dice.
Oh, okay. I see.
Click that, and then you can click on Indulge Vice. You set the stress, so what your stress is right now, which I believe is 6. Click Roll. That's me. I rolled just to see how that worked. Interesting.
It says number of dice. I pick what, 1?
Actually, let's take a look at your character sheet, because you're always going to roll your lowest overall score. So in this case, it would be Resolve.
So it's
Do you
one
have
die.
the Resolve? Yep, that's 1 die. So
Okay.
Yeah, roll your 1 die. You clear 1 stress.
Great.
Happy. So yeah, morphin time says right there.
Yeah.
you managed to get a small amount of morphine. Where are you getting it from?
Oh man, something gross and scummy.
Okay. You make your way over to Night Market, and you hit up one of your favorite little stores there. And it's only your favorite store because the guy really doesn't give a shit about anything, and he tends to have stuff that you might want of varying quality because he doesn't really track it. And you take this morphine, and you maybe have 2 or 3 minutes where you get to experience that euphoria, that high,
There you go.
and step away from reality. But it wears off really quickly. It's a bad batch.
No. All right. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go back and meet up with everybody else.
Well, And so then we go over to let's say CJ, because you're next on my screen. What do you want to do with your downtime?
I would also like to remove
Some stress. You're going to indulge in your
gonna
vice.
indulge in some vice. Myri just got slapped into a library with a workbench, and now she's gonna go to town on it.
All right. So same
Sniffing
thing.
books.
Sniffing
click on that
books.
dice.
Go sniff some books.
And you are also making a resolve roll. Do you have the resolve to not overindulge in your vice? And so you're going to roll 1 dice and take that result. And yeah.
So if you had 2 dice or 3 dice, do you just get the highest result?
Yes.
Okay. Book sniffing.
CJ, you rolled 2 dice, and you only get to roll 1. I'm sorry.
I know. I don't know why I did that. I set it to 0 dice.
Oh, so it's giving you the lower of the 2.
Yeah. You guys are all so well-rounded.
Aw,
So you get to clear 2 stress. Yeah, so what does that look like for you? What are you trying to do, and that relieves a little bit of stress for you?
just really taking in the workspace and setting it all up to things she's had in the past for her own space, because I assume she can't go back to her old stomping grounds. People know where she used to be, so now it's just setting up her particulars, getting all her tools laid out, going around looking through the bookshelves and seeing if there's anything relevant to her studies. Just forgetting to eat dinner. She's just.
Yes.
Who needs books when there's words? Who needs food when there's words? That's what I'm.
smelling
and I think
book glue.
in the excitement
Oh,
of
that
it
glue.
being in this space, realizing
paste.
that there's actually quite a bit of interesting knowledge here. It seems that like maybe when this university operated, the spirit laws were a little bit less lax, or a little bit more lax. There's information here that you actually would not have found in like your typical library, as certainly when you went to Charter Hall Academy. They didn't have access to some of these books, or they were considered forbidden at Charter Hall, but they're available here. And so maybe in your excitement, you managed to clear a little bit of stress there.
Forbidden.
Yeah. I'll say you find a book. You find a book that you're particularly interested in. You haven't had a chance to really look through it, but you kind of glance through it. You find a book about how to maintain, like, it's like how to use a hull, which is like you can like bind a spirit to a machine, but then also it's a process by which that machine could in theory power itself by having the spirit feed off of the energy it creates. And so like you're like, whoa, like, and so it's like basically like a water dam powered by the spirit, and then gets a portion of that energy back, prolonging the spirit's life, because a spirit will eventually die inside of a hull if not released. So yeah, it's just an interesting new way of looking at that particular bit of technology. And then Ethan, or actually, sorry, Vay. I don't care what Ethan's doing. What is Vay up to?
All right. So Vay's bottom two. I'm gonna say that Vay is gonna use his prowess, and he is going to go out for a walk and just start kind of lurking around. And so with his vice, it's very he is looking for faith, having just spent the last 5, 6, or I guess it was about a week and a half. He had like the shortest time in prison, but to have that amount of control taken away, spending that whole time so close to someone going through withdrawals like Sawtooth and all of that, he's just kind of walking around in thought, and gonna do a roll here and maybe kind of see where he ends up walking to. So gonna do 2 die for 5 stress.
Okay.
Ooh.
You overindulge.
I do. Interesting.
And so, yes, you have no stress, so congratulations. 0 stress for you. But in the process, you overindulge, and we'll get into what that means. But I want you to pick between attract trouble. So I can select or roll an additional entanglement. Brag about your exploits. Gain +2 heat. No, actually, no, you don't get to pick that. Or lost. You either attract trouble or you're lost, which means your character vanishes for a few weeks, and you will have to play a different character until this one returns.
Oh man, that feels feel a little early in the campaign to go, all right, drop this character, throw up someone new. But wouldn't that be interesting as far as to come back in next week with someone new? You know what?
I mean,
Let's go.
That's how the game works.
I guess so. Why don't we attract trouble?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to take a quick look at the entanglements options. I promise I won't arrest you. That is one of the options.
Please don't break my legs.
No, page 150, I believe. Yes. Okay. I can give you 2 choices here. It doesn't say that I have to pick from the list of ones that you could roll given your heat level. And so I'm gonna ask, do you want the Unquiet Dead or Demonic Notice?
I want to do Demonic Notice.
Okay. So you find yourself, Vay, as you're on this walk, you're thinking, and you're walking by like a canal, by this like little like man-made river. And you're kind of looking around, and you're thinking about like, what do I want? What do I need in this moment? And as you're walking, matching the pace that you hear like the sounds of like shattering glass. So like each time you take a step, it's like someone's throwing like a bottle and it's shattering against the ground. And you look around and you don't see anything. And this goes on for a while until eventually you are by an alley. And you just kind of glance into the alley, and just the way that the lantern's hitting, you see like a translucent figure, or like a transparent figure, but like the light is refracting off of like this humanoid figure in the alleyway. What do you do?
Well, I mean, for the sake of narration, so maybe Vay is gonna look over and is like, and what the fuck is that? I've seen a few things in my life, but I can't tell. Like, are you a spirit or something else? And we'll just kind of take maybe a few steps in, and maybe as he does, kind of realizes that probably should not have engaged, and kind of hesitates and holds his ground ready.
And so in response to your words, you see like a light inside of this glass figure. It glows. It's like all of a sudden it's kind of glowing red from like the core, and it spreads through its limbs, and it moves towards you. And each time it moves, it kind of like moves in like a very jilted and like strange fashion, kind of like those mannequins from Silent Hill.
Ugh.
And each time it does, it makes that shattering noise.
Ugh. I hate it.
Until it's standing like right in front of you, and it puts its hands around your throat. As like the light kind of moves through its limbs, it's like very warm, but like not like hot, like it's not burning you, but it's very warm. And it just kind of like leans down, and it like, you can hear like a sound, like a resonance, and it's like this like pitch. It's like an F sharp. And all of a sudden, like in that tone, it kind of starts to fluctuate until you just kind of hear the words like, Skurlock. Bind him. Remind him of my name.
And what's your name?
Oh, fuck. Sorry, I've been looking for it, but then I didn't want to like slow that down. I'm sorry.
Remind me of my name.
Setara. It's spelt Seterra.
I appreciate spelling it out.
Setara.
I get you. Just let him know that you're calling, or anything else.
Find Skurlock. Tell him my name. Remind him.
All right, I'll remind him. I'll let him know.
Perfect. And she lets go with one of her hands, and the other one slides like under your shirt and over your chest.
Ooh.
And then she does burn you. And you just get like a little brand on your chest. It's not like permanent. It will heal eventually. But it's the shape of like a woman's hand.
Nice.
And then you hear shattering, and she's just not there anymore.
Very cool. Curious to see how this pays off, but I guess from Vay's point of view, she's definitely going to stand for half a second, take a few paces backwards, and walk out of the alley and just kind of pick up a quicker pace, and is obviously quite frustrated with himself, having realized that earlier he did not intend to have been talking out loud, and I think that is where the overindulgence happened as far as the prowling around, and so he's very quiet and within himself, just pissed off.
I don't know if your character knew it before or not, but giving notice to a demon is the same as inviting it into your life. Like, so even the fact that you acknowledged it at all is where you went wrong. And with that said, we have completed our first of you guys each get 2 downtime actions. But
cool.
We're going to take a quick break here because I got to go to the bathroom, and I think it's we're a little bit over halfway. So let's take our break here, guys, and we'll come back as soon as we can.
Cool.
Listeners at home, I encourage you to drink RC Cola because Dr. Pepper is, actually, my grandfather was obsessed with like no-name versions of things, and so
save on nickels.
Yeah. And so he would go to the vending machine in Tiverton, Ontario, and he would buy gratuitous amounts of RC Cola, and then force his grandchildren to drink it. And guarantee you that it's the same thing as Coke.
Just like drink up.
It is nothing like the brand names either. It is
RC
noticeably.
It's a little bit nostalgic for me though. Like I like a
RC
nice
is great.
cold RC Cola makes me feel like a child. It's amazing.
It's great. It's like Dad's root beer. Like it's great. Here's this drink. It's totally not the right environment for this, but it's called the Stannis Baratheon. You get RC Cola and you mix that up with Red Stag.
Oh,
it's delicious. And it's thematic. You know, the Stannis Baratheon. Look them up if you don't know the name. Also, delicious. Highly recommend.
Yeah. So listeners, we are sponsored. 100%. We're definitely sponsored by RC Cola. And Stannis Baratheon from Game of Thrones. The character.
Stannis Baratheon, the fictional character.
The fictional character.
Yeah.
Has paid me a lot of money to talk about him in a good light. So, Stannis Baratheon and RC Cola.
Stannis Baratheon, great guy. Love him.
He should have ended up with Daenerys. She wouldn't have gone insane at the end of the series.
She was going to go insane no matter what. We can talk about this for 2 hours. I'm going to go get a sandwich.
Yes. Anyways, go on break. Drink RC Cola. See you guys soon. We should get back to this game that we play.
Okay, so all right, so I'm looking at the sheet here. So I've got the recover, reduce heat, acquire asset, indulge vice, train, or long-term projects.
Yes. And so actually this is probably good to go over in the show. So let me do the callback in.
I thought we were recording.
We are recording, but I was going to do the intro there. Like, welcome back, listeners.
I thought we were
welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, listeners.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. I didn't drink an RC Cola because I couldn't find a vending machine in my house. That's awesome. But we're back. I have some water. This podcast is brought to you by water. Which is
the more I think about it, the more I appreciate water. An excellent drink.
Yes, it's pretty rad. We were just kind of talking on the break there, and we were talking about the different downtime activities. So just a real quick rundown for those at home, if you're ever thinking about playing your own Blades game, how do downtime activities work? You get 2 automatically for each player. Now, because players will probably at some point end up playing multiple characters, you can pick which character does what downtime activities, but you only get 2 for free per player. You can spend coin or rep to do an additional, which I forgot to mention before. You can also spend reputation to add additional downtime activities. So if you find yourself like, I really need to heal, but I'm rolling crap on my dice, you can just start burning through your coin, burning through your rep, to get that recovery in, your indulge vices in. And we'll just kind of go over really quickly what the different downtime activities are. So we start with recover. Recover is how you recover harm. So when your character takes harm, such as Ludwig Acton, our friend Ludes, who currently has a level 2 harm, you find yourself a physiker. And there's a few different ones in the fiction. Usually the way that I play it is that most physicers, except for Sawtooth, are equivalent to your tier +1.
Okay.
Okay. And so it doesn't cost you coin to go to it, but it does cost a downtime activity. You go there, they basically make a fortune roll, rolling their tier, or your tier +1. And based on the result of the roll, we fill out a certain amount of segments on the clock, on a 4-section clock. Once that 4-section clock fills up, all of your harms move down 1 level. And so a level 2 harm becomes a level 1 harm. A level 1 harm goes away forever. A level 3 harm becomes a level 2. Yeah, so ultimately, if you have a level 2 harm, you have to fill that clock twice to get rid of it completely. There are things in game, like if you were to acquire an asset that you want to ignore harm for a score, you can do that, and that's where you get into some of the more dangerous drugs that we kind of talked about when we were talking about psychonauts.
Okay, yep.
You can ignore harm for a limited period of time, but then you gain additional harm at the end of it, or you gain a new vice or whatever. There's different ways of handling that, but there are ways to ignore harm in the process of a score. Next, we got reduce heat. This is there are only 2 ways to reduce heat in the game. You can be arrested and go to Iron Hook Prison. If you are arrested and go to Iron Hook Prison, your wanted level resets, and all your heat goes away because somebody took the fall for all your crimes. So, no worries. But you will lose access to that character. That character, if you are in Iron Hook Prison, gets their own downtime actions in the prison and may receive trauma as a result of that. And we can get into the rules of how prison or incarceration work in this game. It's a little bit different than just escaping in a score. But yeah, and depending on your wanted level, when you get arrested, you go to prison for different periods of time. If you have a full 4 level wanted, you get to spend the rest of your life with Tarble when you go to prison.
Cool.
So that's good to know. But reducing heat, what that'll do is you make an action roll of some kind in the fiction, and you clear as, I think it's you clear as much heat as you roll, but I would have to double check. It might be based off of like 3 degrees of success. Acquire asset. This is how you get access to things that you might want to use during a score, or you might be using for either crafting, rituals, or long-term projects. So like this is how you get stuff that's hard to find, and this is kind of the beg, borrow, steal of like, how do I get like a really badass gun? And the idea is if you're getting an item and you plan to use it for a score, you would spend a downtime action and you would find like a big old cannon that you're going to bring with you on the next score. Once that score is done, the item is gone. if you are in the process of crafting something particularly complicated, I may say that it requires you to fill out a clock and do an acquire asset. So like you have to get the materials, which is the acquire asset, and then you also have to do a long-term project to actually build the thing. Which leads us to... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, are there like simple items or tools that like don't require this type of action? Like if like, within the things that we bring, there's like, a level 1 armor or, pistol, second pistol, a knife, that type of thing. Are those not something you would acquire for this, but like that's more of like an upgraded...
You always have access to those. Yeah, so like that stuff that's on your items, you always have access to. And so when we go to do a score, you pick your loadout, and when you need one of those items that's already on your sheet, you can just grab it.
Cool.
And the quality of that stuff is determined by your tier, and your playbook. So, for instance, if you're a hound, you may have access to a fine rifle or a fine gun. Which means that it's a higher quality and a higher tier than you are as a crew. Whereas, like, if you go to pick a pistol at tier 0, it's a pretty shitty pistol. And I'll keep that in mind when determining how much damage it does to NPCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to acquire, like, a really nice pistol for the next thing, you would acquire an asset. That's another way of doing that. Long-term project. This is kind of where you get into rituals. Crafting is technically a long-term project, but they have their own rules as well. That's one thing that's not on here is crafting is its own downtime action because it gets a little, but it has its own set of rules. And Myri might be interested in that as our local leech. But this can be anything from you want to harry and harass somebody like an NPC that you don't like. It may be that you want to gain favor without performing scores with another faction. You may want to learn information, do research. It's just kind of anything your character might be interested in doing that would take a fair amount of time. We would work out in the fiction about how long we think that would take. And then we make a clock for it, and you roll to see how quickly you fill up that clock. And it could take several long-term project downtime actions. It might just take like 1 or 2, depending on how well you roll. We also have training. So this is where you guys can go in and you can train. As a downtime action, you can give yourself 1 XP in any of your tracks on your playbook. And then because you have the upgrade from being a cult, you actually gain 2 XP if you train Resolve. And then Indulge Vice, which we've all seen, all 3 of you indulged your Vice, and that's exactly how we go. We roll to see how much stress you clear. We roll to see if you overindulge, such as Ethan did. And bad stuff can happen when you overindulge. It can result in your character not being playable, and sometimes that is the best option for them. Other times you can choose to have your character be unplayable and roll up a new one is if your character is in so much harm that bringing them on the next score just doesn't seem viable. Like if you have like a level 3 and 2 level 2 harms and you're just like, holy crap, like we don't have the coin, we don't have the rep, we don't have the downtime actions. You could just be like, my character chooses to just hit bed rest for the next score, and then they can lower everything by 1 value for free, but you can't play them until the next time. But you always get to play as players, and that just means you get to roll up a new character. Yeah, and that's all of them. Crafting, again, is its own set of rules. So, Myri, if you are going to get into crafting, I have the rules in the journal under rules stuff and under downtime rules. It's got its own little section there, so you can look through that and we can kind of work through that if it comes up. But the real quick and dirty of crafting is as a leech or even just as anyone, you need to study as a long-term project to invent a formula or plan for a design. And most of them are 8-segment progress clocks to like kind of create a new object in the world that doesn't already exist. If it's a simple item, then you can go right to crafting it. If you pick certain upgrades as a leech, you automatically learn at least one formula or one design. You can modify items as well, so you can like examples here are: a simple useful modification requires tier +1 quality, a rifle that breaks down into 2 sections to be more easily concealed. So like, yeah, like if you want to make something that's kind of simple and would just help out, you can do that, and you can just roll your crafting check to see if you succeed.
You just have to have an idea of what you're making ahead of time.
Yeah.
You can just say like, I'm crafting something and I'll come up with it later. A mystery mouse tool for later. So you gotta have an idea.
Yes.
The mystery mouse tool. I have a young daughter. I know what that is.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's kind of what your options are for downtime activities. So we each got through one. Everybody chose to indulge their vice, and so we're back to Adam. Adam, what are you doing with your second?
Well, I botched the roll ahead of time for you. So there you go.
Oh, you you overindulged on your vice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I have
wondering.
5 stress. I have 5 stress, and I rolled a 6.
Okay.
I don't want this weak shit. Give me the strong shit. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Whoops.
here I'm gonna give you options, and I'll give you different options than I gave you then. I can give you lost, I can give you brag, or I can give you tapped.
Ah, he's lost.
You don't want to play as Lutz in the
Absolutely.
next score?
No, he's out for a little bit. Yeah, it's I love
Okay.
him. I love him. I cherish him. He's out for a little bit. He's juicing up, and he's going on some kind of adventure, and he's gonna wake up somewhere. But I mean, this will get rid of his stress, and it'll get rid of his wound. Or his harm. Pardon.
Yeah, it'll move it down 1 level. And that's a little house rule that I made, just because recovery is such a bitch in this game.
That's part of why I was like, yeah, get him out of here. But yeah, no, that's fine. I'll take 1 notch on that.
Yeah. So no, it just means that your level 2 dead arm becomes level 1.
Undead arm? Ooh.
Undead arm, yeah. There you go. But yes. So that is your second downtime.
I got 2
action
backup
there.
characters that are ready to go. So
I was about
just
to
need a
ask,
character sheet.
how are we gonna plan a score if it's just the 2? But if you got someone else in the barrel,
Oh, I got 2.
Absolutely.
I got 2 backups.
Okay.
I'm generating character right now.
Yeah, so the 2 of you there, we'll get into what Loads is doing, and we'll maybe describe it in the next session or something like that. The next time we see Loads, we'll ask him what he's up to.
I'll have a thing prepared.
Okay. But for now, Loads went away, and I don't think he's been back since he met Darmit. Got the shit kicked out of him. He took a bad batch of morphine that just didn't really do it for him. He's been gone for like most of the day, and he said he was going out to get some food. And it's now been like 14 hours. The 2 of you are waiting for him to come back.
well, we shouldn't have trusted Ludes with a book. That was our first mistake.
Yeah. Daniel's pissed. Daniel's like, oh my god, I didn't even make him sign it out. How am I gonna get this book back? And that's the other thing. You stole a book from your friend Daniel there. Liz.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, his name. It's like that moment in the Telltale games where it pops. It's like Daniel will remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been 14 hours. Did you guys? What did CJ? What did Myri get up to in that intervening 14 hours before we get back. Let's say you did one more downtime activity.
I'd kind of like to reduce. Can I do that by like wrecking wanted posters I see up and around everywhere?
Ooh, there you go.
Yes, you can.
I love that.
And so I just want to check. I think you can do that. Nope, not there. Okay, give me one moment. I gotta check how reduce heat works. Because I want to make sure I get it right.
Can you toss me an extra character sheet in here so I can add my dude?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna send you character art right meow.
Right meow.
Right meow.
Okay, what's new actor? Adam 2. Boom. And I'll give you ownership of that.
Brad, thank you.
Quick question to you, CJ, is whether or
Yeah.
not was there other things you were also wanting to get to? Because like I too was also thinking maybe heat. I'd be fine if you wanted to do that, and like I'd probably pick up like train or something. But like I don't know, there was kind of talk as far as tinkering or that type of thing, and so I'm curious whether or not there's.
I don't have a particular project in mind. I mean, my main goal at the end of this, I want to get a hull. I want to make a hull at the end of this. I don't know if I want to start that right now. We do have like.
I'll tell you right now, that's a pretty hefty ask. Like,
Yeah.
hulls are very complicated.
I know.
So, like, the sooner you start it, the sooner it'll get done, though. So, there's
Yeah.
that. Okay, sorry, guys. Okay. It's either page 17 or 33 or 53.
I mean, if you wanted to do the heat thing, I understand if you don't trust my rolls with the group group points.
I'm all right with any. I just like. I know like reducing heat is very much doing something for the team, whereas training is a bit more like doing something for oneself, and then like I don't know, building and the other stuff, which is pretty like. I think if anyone's doing like that type of project, it's going to be most
Okay.
likely Murray. Oh,
I would only
have
think
the
that
rules.
that she'd only because she was the one who blew everything up, so she has a little more stake in. I don't want the heat right on me right now. That's
That
where
that
I
is a
was
good
from.
point.
And Myri is the one who has the Wanda posters up of her. They don't really look like her, but
They get the bob wrong, you know.
yeah. Yeah, you didn't make a lot of splash there, Vay and Lutz. Like, you guys did more or less avoid notice. There are specific NPCs who would recognize you, but you weren't seen by a spear over. And so yeah, I have the rules for reduce heat here, and I was wrong. So you reduce heat according to the result. A 1 to 3, you reduce it by 1. 4 to 5, you reduce it by 2, and a 6, you reduce it by 3. A critical, you reduce it by 5. And so, yeah, Myri, what are you rolling there?
I want to roll rec to rec want posters and like if there's any like news things.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make that roll. Just roll a rec roll, and we'll base it off of the roll.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, you go to start taking down these posters, and it's less that you effectively wrecked a lot of them. You do manage to lose a little bit of heat because like a couple people see you just as you're like freaking out and trying to destroy these posters, and they're just kind of like, oh, maybe we don't want to deal with this girl. She seems a little unhinged. Let's just ignore her. But you guys do lose 1 heat, which is enough to bring you down in severity on engagement rolls. So that's not bad. You also don't have a wanted level yet, so that's good to know. But you're very close to getting one.
Yeah. That'll.
So did you already knock it down there? Somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just.
Cool. No, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, oh, I thought you had 6, but there we go. Yeah, and so then we go to Vay. Vay, what are you doing? This lovely afternoon. It's cold. It's raining. It's freezing outside. What are you doing?
Which is lovely in Duskfall. You know, really, who could ask for better weather than that? Well, I might also just try to go then and reduce heat.
Okay.
Just considering where it's at and our previous track record so far, I'm not super confident that we're going to be able to do the next heist without, taking a few pips. So, yeah, I'm going to use Consort, and I think what Vay would do is find his way over to a few different pubs and just grab a drink and start kind of mingling with some of the blue coats and just trying to talk down or maybe talk badly of the Path of Echoes versus other people who were there, handling anything that happened within the jail in the past few days, and kind of blame it a bit more on the current occult standing rather than some of the riffraff who might have gotten out.
It's like, who gives a shit about these little guys getting out? Like, they're just fucking little. Like, who cares about them? Like, the Path of Echoes fucking almost killed everyone in Dunslow. They're the real problem. And then they're getting all riled up. Potentially. Make your roll and see how riled up they get.
Oh, yeah. So, alright. Consort and controlled?
Yeah, this is a controlled roll. You will not, you can't get hurt by this. It's just you can not clear as much.
Hey, there we go.
Success. So you can take another 3 heat off.
Tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick.
And so like the drinks start flowing a little bit at the first pub, and they're like, yeah, fuck, well, like these Path of Echoes guys, they're messed up. You ever seen them? They got those tattoos everywhere. Just like absolutely fucking, they're scary. They're freaks.
Can't talk to them.
I bet you that they I think they sleep with spirits, like in a sexual way.
Oh,
the one
like Dan
says.
Aykroyd in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like exactly like Dan Aykroyd, who exists in this world as well. He's off searching for the crystal skulls.
Oh, Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd, I know you're listening.
Dan Aykroyd is
Keep it up.
scavenging the Deathlands for crystal skulls.
I'm gonna throw this out there real quick. I got a buddy who did. He went to college, right? What an idiot, right? But he went to college and was gonna do like movie stuff. He studied for like lighting for movies, and he made like a student film thing. And he got a phone call from Dan Aykroyd that was all like, "Hey Ryan, I think you're doing a good job. Keep it up." And he's all like, "Yeah, right. This isn't Dan Aykroyd." He's like, "No, it's Dan Aykroyd." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck you." And like hung up, and the guy called back. He's like, "No, this is really Dan Aykroyd." Like, because his dad is like a liquor distributor guy. So like his dad like talked to Dan Aykroyd and was like, "Hey, check out my son's movie." And it was actually Dan Aykroyd. They called him, and that's the story.
Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by Crystal Skull Vodka.
This podcast is brought to you by the ghost of Dan Aykroyd. I know he's still
by the
alive,
way,
but just his ghost.
He made an advertisement that's 25 minutes long, and he only
I've seen
talked
it.
about the vodka for the last 3 minutes of it.
I've seen it. I'm Dan Aykroyd. I believe in the supernatural and the spiritual. And he just goes on and on and on. He's like, "That's why I made this vodka." And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd's great.
So we're drinking Dan Aykroyd vodka, and we really kind of I've riled them up and really have them on the Path of Echoes and the And the bill hooks, and you know, they asked for it themselves, and they're all, you know, what even goes on in there. So
they start getting riled up, and it kind of carries on without you. You go to the next pub, and they're already there. They somehow beat you there, even though you left before them. In their fever, and they're already spreading tales about the Path of Echoes and the bill hooks, and they're telling all sorts of lavicious tales about them. Is that how you say it, lavicious? I don't know. They're just spreading weird rumors, but amongst the bluecoats about how awful the Path of Echoes are. But yes, and so yeah, you managed to knock off like a fair amount of heat there. That's 3 again off of the heat. And at this point, we can open it up to free play unless anyone has any other downtime activities they want to pay for.
I'll take that as
what
a
else
no.
would we use? Yeah, I'm like, what else would we use the coin for? Because like, I don't know. I would love trading.
You can pay a coin for trading. I mean, like, here's the thing. Short of being like, I'm gonna like you can't just like declare like you're gonna spend all of the coin by yourself necessarily. Like if people start like legit getting mad in real life about it, like I might bring that in. But otherwise, like it's your coin. You guys earned it. Spend it. This is one way to spend it. You can also spend it in acquiring assets. Sometimes you can spend it to increase the value of a roll. So in theory, you could actually, if you spend 1 coin to clear 5 stress right now instead of 3, so you would clear 2 more. And same with recovery, right? Like if you go to make a recovery roll, you can spend it to increase the effect of the recover. And same with long-term projects, things like that. Coin can get spent in crafting. Coin can get spent in long-term projects if it's something that we assign a coin value to it because it's going to be an expensive endeavor. And acquire assets, like coin might be the only way you can acquire that asset because you have to buy it off of someone. And then that's really about it. You could, in the fiction, be like, I give this person a coin, and that might be enough to increase faction levels with them as well. And that would be part of free play. Like, if you go and hand someone, like, you know, like $2,000, they're probably inclined to like you more. Just like in real life, you know?
That is how friendship works.
It's one way. You want to be my friend, you got to subscribe to my monthly thing.
Monthly friendship subscription.
Yeah.
It's a Patreon.
It's Patreonizing.
Speaking of Patreon, join us on Dragon's Creek Gaming. If you want to be my friend, sign up to the Patreon.
If you want to be friends with me, here's the deal: we're putting in a new tier on the Patreon where you get to be my friend. And then there's one that's more expensive where I don't talk to you. Like you pay an extra $5 and you don't have to hear from Adam once.
It's like, it's funny because most people sub in at the lower level and then they move up.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is gonna be the opposite. Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Fuck it, here's the extra. Pay $35 so that guy will shut up."
Nah,
otherwise, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna send you emails.
I like your emails. Me and Adam have been swapping back and forth. He's been sending me music, and so I've been sending him my music, which is.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I've actually I've gotten music from you and from Chuck, who is on the other. He's one of the As the Six World Turns guys, and I'm like, dude, I haven't had somebody that can give me music that I'm into that I haven't heard before in so long. Like CJ's also got fucking excellent taste in music, and it's yeah.
I listen to an uncomfortable amount of rap for a white guy, but it's all good. That's just where I'm at.
The only rap that I really get into is like Public Enemy, dude. Like, I don't know. There's just like something about Public Enemy. I'm like, dude, this is like really like on the cusp of being like a punk rock band. Like it's like a hip hop punk rock situation.
That's true.
Like their like
speaking,
ethics are like super punk rock.
Super. Speaking, actually, I love Public Enemy, but also speaking of being Public Enemies, Public Enemy number 387 and 388, Myri and Vey.
Oh yeah, sorry.
What are you guys up to? You guys have had this weird experience. Ludwig hasn't come home in 14 hours. Do you call the police and report him missing?
Please don't. Anything but
Not
that.
I hear there's a real charmer at the Blue Coat's office. Just absolute eye candy.
You have Danny DeVito or Daniel DeViso. Deraviso. Daniel Deraviso is kind of loitering around in your library. You've been paying attention to him, and he doesn't really seem all there. Like he seems like he maybe doesn't understand that the library's not open anymore.
He's like standing in like ankle deep water, and he's like, I don't know why no one's coming in.
Yeah, he is like when they comments like that, he's just like, yeah, it's been awful slow lately. I think they must have raised tuition again, and like nobody can afford to come here. But hopefully, as we get more students, I'd like to get paid. You know, and then we also have there's a ghost that you've been made aware of that's lecturing in one of the halls. You guys have a meeting with the Circle of Flames in a couple of days, and that you're expected to go to, and you also have the ability to do anything you want within reason.
Why you gotta put chains on us like that?
Like you can't just fly because that's not a thing in this game. No one gets a fly speed.
All right, I'm making a jetpack just because you said that.
Lutz could fly.
Out of my clock wheel.
Remember, when you craft things, I'm allowed to make them have drawbacks.
Okay.
And,
as long as it can fly for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just also gonna make it volatile. So like, if you roll poorly enough, it'll just explode and kill you.
Yep. That's how I want to go out.
That's
On
how
my
we
own
all go
creation.
In a burning ball of spite.
Yeah, so Vey's gonna go and he's gonna approach Danny and have a quick chat and just be like, you know, Danny, I've been looking around and I gotta say this place is looking a little worse for wear, and I'm curious where you keep your books as far as how you've been operating this joint.
Books like the accounting.
Exactly. You know, as recent employees here, we're trying to take account of where we are and you know, what kind of upgrades and you know, maintenance is needed around here.
I guess that would be Nytlin over in accounts receivable, accounts payable. There's an accounting department, but Nytlin's the head of the department.
Danny. See, I don't think there's anyone else that I want to talk to. I think you've got the information that I'm looking for. So maybe I can word it a little more clear. I don't think I'm being super straightforward with what I'm saying. Is I think you're the one running this library, and I want to know what it is that you think we should be doing to bring in the students, to bring in that coin.
Well, I've heard that they were going to open a new university in Charter Hall. You know, if people are leaving here to go to there, we just perhaps convince some of the parents, convince some of the students they should come this way. They bring their tuition. They learn from ARC books. We have good books, the best books.
They smell real good.
Yes, have you smelt this book? Sorry, 1 second. Adam, how do I open that thing out again?
Oh, if you like for the picture?
Oh, right. I have to click on the picture of that thing. That's what I'm doing wrong. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue. Try to do two things at once here.
Yeah, multitasking ain't my strong suit either. All right, so I think Vey is kind of realizing in this conversation that aside from the actual bookkeeping itself, he's not going to get too much there. Yeah, what do we do? Well, I don't know. I had talked before as far as going and doing some training. So if everyone's cool with that, I'm going to just kind of lead that conversation that way. Yeah, so Vey's going to go and pull out a pouch of money representing one of those coins and just kind of, start trying to influence and, be more agreeable with Danny and just kind of go like, hey, like, maybe we start, maybe I can start throwing a bit more money into the library itself. Why go through all the administrative work that, doesn't seem to be working out so far with you? And, I can start giving you some cash. You can start, pepping this place up just a little bit, and we're all a little happier about that. And I've been thinking, trying to figure out how to better work with people, maybe gain more insights into how to, be better at talking and influencing. So I can slide you some money. Maybe we can order in a few books on that, and we can kind of update some of this old literature into something a bit more modern.
Yeah, actually, Daniel's gonna take the money and he's gonna put it in his pocket because he's owed pay. And he'll grab like a whole pile of books. Like he kind of disappears for like 15 minutes and comes back with all these books, how to make friends and influence people, and
is the How to Make Friends book like about building like automaton?
So it's about how to make hollows and like
there you go, perfect. Love it.
It would be the esoteric art of influencing souls, unveiling the secrets of charismatic conjuration and social alchemy.
I love it. Yes. So he brings several books about social alchemy because that's a fucking rad term.
That's
and he brings
crazy.
you to an empty lecture hall. And he starts like the two of you start practicing these things in the book. So you open it up and he's like, so you could say that that you need a proper lubricant in order to grease a gear. That's what it says here. Liquor could be used as a social lubricant, but so could really anything else.
Like an
cocaine
egg in this trying time.
If you need someone to talk, people like cocaine. If that's still popular with the kids these days. And yeah, the two of you have a conversation. I'm assuming you're training resolve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then, yeah, go give yourself 2 points in the resolve there. There we go. Also, Ethan, did you give yourself XP from the last session? Like, did you put that...
Yeah, I figured. So I gave myself 2 pips. I realized looking at the other sheets that folks had 4, so I wasn't sure if I had missed one or not.
All of you earned 4.
I see.
And I don't think you rolled any desperate actions, so I see you put 1 in resolve and you put 1 in special abilities. You have 2 more to put out, by the way.
Oh, okay. I will do that.
Yes, and it didn't make the recording last week, and we just kind of did it at the top of the session before we started recording. Today we did do crew XP. Next time you guys do a score or whatever, we'll go over that again. But yeah, so Vey spends some time training with Daniel there, and they're having like the most awkward conversation about how to be more social in the world. But it seems to work for them.
It's the perfect training.
Exactly.
You gotta work through the awkward to learn how to be human.
Yeah, you just have to have a very earnest conversation about like how awkward you are as a person, with Danny DeVito. That'll make you a better person. It builds character. Yeah, Myri, what do you get up to? Like, it can be a downtime activity if you want to spend a coin, or it can just be you hanging out and maybe meeting up with someone you know, buddy, a rival, whatever you want.
I think if you guys are cool with it, I think how we should do it after each heist when we get money, I think we can all get like one, depending on how much money we get. If we only get like a few coins, then like, we can each have like one.
Yep, absolutely.
The heist.
And I should explain one more thing actually, that coin can be used for. And this is perhaps the most important thing. I know I mentioned it before, but I just really want to bring this home. If you look at your character sheet, there's a little coin symbol there.
Yeah.
If you click that, one, you can carry up to 4 coin on your person at a time. Any more than that, it starts to get burdensome. Your wallet's just too thick. But you can move coin into your stash. And what that does is every 10 coins you throw into your stash, you improve the quality of your retirement.
Ooh, nice.
If you put no coins into it, when your character is either forced to retire or the session ends, you basically are destitute. Like that's the final vignette for that character.
So these are the victory points at the end of the campaign,
Yes.
basically.
Yes. Yeah. So you really to end off and to do anything your character wants to do. They want to retire and they want to move to the Bahamas. The Bahamas are gone. They were shattered long ago, but they can move to the Dagger Isles instead.
Ooh, sounds nice.
Yeah. There's ghosts everywhere, and there's no lightning barriers, but it's rad.
So it's
not long to live anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's like Florida, but with ghosts. So exactly like Florida. That's why the people are so weird there, right? Like it's just they're all possessed. But yeah, basically, you would have to spend 40 coin. You can put coin into your stash at a rate of 1-to-1. If you end up needing to withdraw coin from your stash, you have to take 2 stash out to get 1 coin.
Oh, there's fees.
It's retirement savings.
Yeah, you get penalized for accessing your 401k too soon.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there are actually 3 banks in Duskfall, so probably that is where you're putting your stash.
Let's rob those.
I mean, that's an option. You guys are a cult, and you guys get bonuses for doing occult activities. And you guys have a favored thing of
robbing banks.
No, doing as you're trying to get the attention of some deity.
Okay.
Look at me now, God, I'm stealing money.
Yes.
You gotta get paid.
The way I'll probably word that is that like the god is gonna send you weird coded messages, and I'm in the process of trying to think up one for today's session, but I haven't got there yet. So that will come up. But there are definitely lots of things you can do. You can rob a bank if you want to get some coin. That would totally help you build a cult. Having money helps tremendously with most things you want to do in life. So, CJ, what is Myri up to? It doesn't have to be today, within the same day that Ludwig left. But yeah, what are you doing? Are you going to see a friend? Are you just hanging out? Are you trying to find maybe you've met with Vey, and Vey has kind of talked to you about how it might be worthwhile to bring some more people over to this cause. This seems like a really good space to build like a headquarters of some kind. They threw in a lot of extra beds here. It might also be worthwhile to just fast forward to the Circle of Flame meeting.
I don't think she's ready to poke at previous people after all that explosion.
No worries, you're gonna let that heat die down.
Yeah, just let that go a little back to the back of the public mind a little bit. I think lay low with all these new books, and
Okay.
she's a little curious about the professor guy. This is a ghost just hanging out.
Yeah. If you want to go talk to him, you can, but I'm gonna ask Adam a question first.
Oh yeah.
Adam, where in the city are you right now? Your new character that you just finished throwing in.
Well, it depends. What does
Where you
this
want to
ghost
be?
teacher teach? What is it? It was ethical something.
Introduction to ethical spectrology.
Spectrology. Okay. So he's definitely not there. So my thought is that he's this guy has received whatever this vision is that you were going to talk about, and that's why he's like headed to the library.
Okay. So give me half a second. Okay. So yes, you guys didn't receive the message. A man named Jacob Bridgewater did. You were down at the docks and you were looking over. You're down at the docks. What are you doing down at the docks? Do you work down there?
Kinda. My guy's a Leviathan hunter.
Okay, he is currently a Leviathan hunter.
Probably not right now.
Okay. Would
Maybe.
you be open
Maybe he is,
to him
maybe he's
not
not.
being a Leviathan hunter because you were on the ship that just got blown up
There you go.
like a week and a half ago?
Yeah, love it.
So yeah, you're out of work because the ship fucking exploded. The dockers went apeshit, and
No, you know what?
you aren't.
His ship is still involved, still doing its thing. But he gets this call, the calling. And
Okay.
he walks away.
Okay. So you're looking into the ocean there. I want to call you Johnny, but your name is Jacob. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
That's my name too.
Yes.
What do you know?
Nice. So yeah, Jacob, you get the call, and you find yourself compelled, like you're looking into the to the starry black, like the stars beneath the black inky ocean, and it's like they're calling to you, and they say, "Find the circle, find the teacher, find the martyr."
Okay. It's been playing in the back of his mind. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. And like it's it's gotten louder over the past I don't know, couple of weeks. And you know, the ship pulls in a dock. And you know, the crew's allowed to, you know, do a little bit of shore leave. So, you know, he goes and you know, he's with that, you know, he goes into a pub somewhere near the dock and he gets like a beer, and it's like super dark black stout beer. He's like looking into it, and like he sees it again, and like some like lights from like candles or something are reflected in the beer, and it looks like the stars in the ocean. And he stares into it, and then he's like, "Find the teacher, find the circle, find the teacher."
And at that moment, you look into the sky. You're looking out the window, and you happen to be glancing in the direction of Dunslow, and you see this giant, like, beam of light, and like you see this circle form in the sky as spirits start to swarm around it like a storm.
So he stares at it, like his eyes are like wide open as he's staring at this thing, and it's like going on for too long. There's like tears streaming out of his eyes from just, you know, not blinking and just being like drawn into it. And then he's like, gets up, he starts to walk away. He walks out of the pub, and they're like, "Hey, you forgot to pay for your drink," and he's already gone. And he's just like kind of unaware of what's going on around him. It's more like the world's moving around him rather than he's walking through the city, as he's just compelled to go to the library.
Yes,
Check out some books.
you find yourself like moving through 6 towers, and even though the circle isn't done slow, you kind of just know that this is the right place for you. And you enter the library, but you enter the library after Ludwig has left. I think it takes you some time to find it, and maybe you scope it out for a bit before you step in. You just kind of like see if anyone comes and go, and you just happen to see Ludwig leave.
Let's move past him like ships in the night.
Yes. And the two of you change places. And actually, guys, we're coming up towards the end of the session, so Jacob, come in. Why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll maybe call it a night.
Sure. So you would just go into the library and then look around and see. I guess you guys are in there doing library stuff.
I don't know. Maybe we both notice and turn over, and it's like, oh, are you from the Circle of Flames? Another message, or who are you?
Find the circle. Find the teacher. Are you the teacher? Is this the circle?
Oh shit, we've got crazy here. She pulls out a knife.
Oh, that's an excellent knife. I'm supposed to find the teacher.
What, do you want the ghost back there?
Is that the teacher?
Teachers.
I've been hearing whispers. Lots of whispers. Supposed to find the teacher. Sorry, my voice is changing as I figure out what I sound like.
Oh, that's quite alright. I've been there myself.
Supposed to find the teacher. Come a long way, across the stormy seas, the inky black, starlit seas. Stormy. You call me Stormy.
Well, if you're coming here asking questions, I can say you definitely have a lot to learn, because you're not going to find them that easily. Maybe at this point, oh gosh, I'm like, do we do like a study roll or like, I don't know.
Okay, so do you want to talk about PC versus PC actions?
Are we going to do a study off? Let's do it. Let's study. Let's study off.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a study roll there, Ethan, because based off of everything I said, I don't think he's lying, so that's not like a really competing roll. Let's just see how well you
I do not do well.
Yeah.
I studied the shit out of him studying.
Okay. You get the sense that they well, actually, Vey, you tell him. You have like Vey, like you see this man and you're like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I don't know who he is or why he's here, and like he's saying some weird shit, and I don't really understand what he's getting at. That's the vibe that you're getting from him, is you don't know. But Jacob, you get a pretty good read on Vey. You get a good read on how he's feeling in the moment, and you get a good you just kind of get a general vibe of like who he is as a person.
If you're not the help, then I can say you can maybe help yourself out of this place, because you ain't welcome.
Okay, roll another character. Okay.
Yeah, I had two, so I got one more, and his call sign is Cadaver. I could do that. I guess if you want to kick this dude to the curb. I just found his voice. Ow! All right. What is?
I can roll a study.
You're not the teacher. I can tell. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you're seeking the teacher too. I got a way with sights and intuitions. This guy's wearing. He's got a working man's shirt. It's off-white, used to be white, rolled up to the elbows. He's got a vest on over it that's got way too many buttons, apparently, because, AI. It's like 13 buttons on this. He's got as many buttons on his chest as Ludes has got nipples. But he's got a bunch
if that
of
was a
yeah.
reference.
Like, yeah, that. Come on, man.
It's coincidence.
But
It's coincidence. It's all. You know what? There's no such thing as coincidence. It's all tied together, man. It's all part of the conspiracy. But no, he's got a vest on, and he's got like a hat, like a big old kind of piratey hat, not like a tricorn hat, but like the hat the seaman would have, and he's got like a seaman's beard, big old beard, because he's out at sea, and he's got long hair, and it's always looks perfect. Like there's always just enough wind for his hair to be blowing, even indoors. It's a little weird, and he's got like piercing eyes. He looks a little bit old, a little bit rugged, handsome. Looks like he's been working the sea for years. Maybe like a couple 2-3 years. I guess there's no sun to really cook him out there, but the wind, I guess. I don't know. The light of the night. It's weathered his face. He looks older than he is. But you don't know that. He would know that because he would have studied his own face. You suck at that.
Roll higher than a 1.
Maybe you're looking for the teacher too. Why are you here in this place? He looks around, he gestures at this dilapidated library. He's like, this old place. Dead place. Haunted. Ghosts of past, ghosts of memory, ghosts of learning. Ghosts of dead men. Dead careers. And he looks over at Danny. Dead aspirations, dead drive, dead motivation. This place is death. Something tells me it could be a place of rebirth. Place of growth. Rebuilding. Y'all got anything to eat?
So I'll say that they will not. Maybe taken aback a little bit as far as the answer, and so he's gonna kind of take a half step back and maybe keep his mouth shut for a second.
Yeah, what's that like? I don't know. I've never done that.
The realization, it's like I just asked this man to leave, and he just kind of started saying shit at me instead.
Saying a bunch of weird shit and asked me for food.
It's like, I guess I don't technically own this building.
I mean, we are kind of like leasing it, right?
How'd you get here? How'd you end up in this place?
Well, you see, we had these things called feet, and we walked in.
Clever. I like that.
How about we circle back a bit? You mentioned something about visions.
I don't know if I call it a vision as much as a little bit of a whisper. More of a sound, a voice, direction from somewhere off stage. And he kind of vaguely looks around. Like another lifetime speaking to me. You don't hear that? You don't have anybody whispering to you from outside?
Oh, I assure you my thoughts keep me quite enough company. Of voices are cacophony in my head. I don't need any outside ones, but... She glances over at Vey. Is this kind of like... Oh,
help me.
Like, not help me, just like... Do you want to tell the crazy man we had a vision too?
Yeah. So I think with this, Vey would be quiet, but maybe his body would he would show some signs, especially having the study come out. I'm going to say that there's enough indicators, even without saying it, that we're not, that Jacob's realizing he's on the right path for that.
What does that sound like in roleplay?
Like, I gotta stop taking actions of not talking.
It's okay. No, it's just like, do you say nothing to him? That's an acceptable answer, but if you say something to him, you gotta say it.
Perhaps I talked a little too quickly. I've been doing that a lot lately. We are currently squatting and reading what wares we have available with the other patrons of this establishment.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
A little lost ourselves.
Yes. And I'll say, Jacob, there, when you look at the table, maybe beside where Myri's sitting, you see like an open letter, and you see like a wax seal, and you recognize the symbol as something you've seen in the ocean. It's a circle.
Just a moment. Let me. Mind if I take a look at that? He kind of reaches over.
Don't get too close. I'm not sure about you.
What are you holding in your hand, CJ? Is that a screwdriver? You're like brandishing a screwdriver at me.
No, it's a seam ripper.
Oh, it's a seam ripper. Even better. It's for ripping open people. Oh my god. All right. All right. I'm intimidated, but Jacob is not. He doesn't care. He's like, oh, just don't.
She'll
don't
back
mind
away,
me.
but let them get close.
He kind of takes the envelope a little bit and he turns it so he's looking at it from the right, the right perspective. That right there, where do they come from? Is this yours? Does it belong to you? Much as thing could belong to a person?
It's kind of a debt if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand a debt. Got quite a few myself. You know what this symbol means here? This one?
Just
the short answer is not really, other than that it's probably from. You presume, like you've been told, the name Circle of Flames, and it happens to be a circle made of flames.
Well, given the quality of the circle being a flame, I believe it refers to that lovely little group called the Circle of Flames. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've seen this circle before. Can't really say I know what it is, but I've seen it. I've heard it. Spoken to me. It's like a kind of a visual listening, if you know what I mean. I don't.
Could you call it a ring of fire in that voice? Like
I think I could. I think I believe that might be a burning ring of fire.
There's a burning ring of fire. Well, that's also.
I gotta tell you, every time I go to Taco Bell, I experience the burning ring of fire on my butt. He doesn't say that. But I believe that could be the ring of fire. Maybe just the one. What about the teacher? Is teacher here? Nearby, maybe?
Well, like I
Maybe
mentioned,
inside
there's
this
a
here
ghost
envelope.
teacher. No, I don't think you're going to find a teacher. It'd be very tiny.
Different things could be a teacher beyond just a person, And I'm gonna kind of wave the envelope at her, and I wanna slice it open if it's not already open. And you know what? Even if it is already open, I'm gonna slice it, and then pull out the letter inside. If there's a letter inside of this thing. What am I holding? I don't even know. Okay.
So you're holding a small, like a fine envelope made of like a papyrus type paper.
Cool.
It's like thick. It's got some substance to it. It had that wax seal that was hand painted.
Oh, it's painted. Ooh.
Yes, they painted the wax seal.
That is very fancy. These are fancy folks.
Yes, and inside is a letter that says, All it says is a date and a location and a time.
Well, looks like I've learned something here, so maybe this is my teacher. Maybe you're the teacher.
Well,
You know, I strive to learn something every day. I think that might be something. Step in the right direction, at least.
I can tell you, this building is mostly filled with books, and half of them have fallen apart by the seam. You ain't gonna find too much, though we do have many beds, and to be honest, not as many allies as I think we would have in order to be comfortable. Jacob, I believe that is what you said your name was, though we might have skipped that part, so I might be, I might be projecting a little bit.
Are you scanning me, boy? I'll scan you right back. No, it's Jacob. Jacob's
tag
my...
above your head.
Yeah, it's being above his head there. Yeah, it also shows his hit points. But no, it's so yeah, Jacob. Name's Jacob Bridgewater. But suppose you'd call me Stormy.
Well, my name is Vay. That there, firecracker is I gotta watch it. I am pulling your accent.
It's contagious.
That one there is
just like herpes.
That one there is Myri, and I can say, you know, I ain't seen a teacher or a Mata here, but you know, any ally that ain't looking to kill us, that's you know, looking for a little coin, I think we can make something work.
Well, I'm gonna keep on looking, and something
You
brought
were
me.
told- I will just say, I don't know if you guys remember, or if you're just not telling them because you don't want them to know. But you were told that there is like an echo that is currently lecturing in the East.
I've said that. I've
Yeah.
said it like two or three
Yeah.
times that there's a ghost teacher here.
Okay.
That might be the one.
Jacob. That might be the one.
Something brought me
yeah.
here, so I'm willing to listen. See what somebody has to say.
Jacob, do you go to the East Wing?
Well, if these folks are gonna tell me where to go, I'm gonna head that way. Toot sweet.
Yeah. Does anyone join him? I don't know. Just kind of curious.
I'll go. Keep my little dagger.
Bear, are you
Keep my
attending
seam ripper
class?
pointed. Yeah.
Well, I'll skulk behind. Not,
Okay.
yeah.
So yes, the three of you kind of make your way over to the East Wing. This is the first time you've gone this far. There's definitely like an asylum type feel to like the hallway. Like it just looks like a storm came through and just tore everything out. It's like a little damp in here. It's freezing in this hall. A lot of the windows are shattered. And there's like glass kind of like on the floor. It crunches underneath your shoes, your boots. And you can hear a voice as you approach one of the things. The door is like blown off its hinges, so it's just kind of hanging by a single hinge, and it's open. And you see like 5 or 6 skeletons. Just they're not living; they're dead people. But
Skellingtons?
Yes, that's how you pronounce the word, right? Skeleton.
What the hell is that? Is that a thing, or is it just like
A skeleton,
bone bodies?
Like, you know, like
The Skellington.
you know the things inside your, like there's always one inside of you. You know.
Are you? I'm so confused. Are you fucking with me? Are you trying to say
Boy.
skeleton?
They
I'm
try
trying to say
take over
skeleton, yeah.
Christmas.
is
Sorry,
is
I
that
don't-
different than a skeleton, or is that just?
I just can't say it the other way. Okay, I don't know why.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't.
All right. I didn't know if there was some kind of special like blades in the dark creature I needed to be worried about.
No.
All right.
This is a dead
So
person whose flesh has rotted off their body.
It's a skelly man. Got it. All right.
Yeah. And it's not an animated skeleton. It's just it's a fucking dead person. There's
It's
like
gonna
6
kill
of
me
them
every
in
time
here.
I hear that. Oh my god, I love it.
Okay, don't worry, I'm not
love
gonna say it a lot, but yes, there are 6 dead people in here. They're bone people.
Call them bone deadies.
And as you come in, and I don't know if you guys are talking or if you're moving quietly, but like immediately you see, like at the front of the classroom, like there's like this like weird like there's like a small man, but he's like spectral and he's kind of like phasing in and out of sight, but you can hear his voice the whole time, and he's like, now what I'm gonna tell you is that this course is a fucking waste of time, okay?
I love him.
There's no such thing as ethics in spectrology. You don't understand. Ghosts, spirits, demons, all of that, they are just things, they're forces of nature, just the same as we are as people. Shut the fuck up, Ludwig. And there just happens to be a student named Ludwig. It's not. Sorry, this is the first thing that came into mind. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But now what I'm gonna tell you is like, you think this emperor is immortal. There's only 2 ways to achieve immortality in our world. Either he's a fucking vampire, or he's a reptile. And what I'm gonna tell you right now is the chances of him being a reptile is significantly higher than him being a vampire, because vampires aren't real. And yeah, like he is.
Clearly, he's a reptilian shapeshifter from the Hollow Earth, and he's here on behalf of the Nazis from the moon.
I started taking notes, and then I kind of realized that I probably should not be taking notes for this.
Is this going to be on the quiz, teacher? Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah. He's moving, and like he basically he goes through like a bunch of like very common conspiracy theories about the emperor, the empire, why they have spiritual laws. He says such things as, now the reason why they say that spirits are illegal, why they put these lightning barriers up, is because they understand that the truth is that spirits, when they are outside of the city, when they aren't able to feed, they lose themselves to madness, and then they get to control the people inside the barriers. They trap us here. It's a prison. It's a prison. It's awful. And then they just let some ghosts in. Of course, like they control the flow of spirits into the city. The spirit wardens themselves are spirits, and then they that's why you don't know who they are, is because they aren't real. They're not people anymore. And he says like a lot of very common conspiracy theories, such as that the immortal emperor is not human, that spirits themselves are like by nature like calm and docile, and that but then he also starts talking about how to utilize them in the practice of spectrology, which you would know, Myri, is the process of like harvesting ghosts for later use. In this world, anyways. I think it's also a thing in our world, but that's not what it is in this world. And then he immediately kind of goes into it's like, now ghosts don't feel pain, so you do whatever you need to do to get that ghost in the spirit jar, and don't worry about their screams.
Just try to tune them out. I mean, that's it. You know, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah, you're gonna feel some feelings about it, because that's just what spirits are. They're just a manifestation of emotion, but they're also not real. And yeah, he just kind of goes on like that for a long time, and like yeah, he is kind of a nut job, but he doesn't acknowledge that you're there at all. And then once he finishes his lecture, he immediately repeats it all back verbatim, again and again and again, depending on how long you stay there.
He doesn't react if I try to like touch him, like I just like phase through it, like nothing happens.
If you try to touch him, like he like it's like you realize that like touching him would be a bad idea. You would know this,
Okay.
Especially being a Leviathan hunter. If you touch a spirit, you would get burned.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
You would acquire spirit burn, like it would hurt. And you would also, as a Leviathan hunter, most people would know. Even like in public elementary school, they kind of tell you what an echo is.
Okay.
This is a spirit that's caught in a loop.
Yeah.
And
so he's not able to like break the loop.
At some point, he will starve enough that he'll become malignant and probably attack someone. Unless somebody intervenes and reconciles this echo.
Okay, so like fixes the issue.
Yeah, like there's something
unsticks
like,
like he's stuck like.
Yeah. Unsatisfied people when they die often become echoes and repeat the last actions that they were in the process of doing if they have unfinished business. Basically, like if the business can't be finished, whatever they think they need to be doing, which in this case, he's doing a lecture and he's obviously not teaching the lecture properly. He seems to be kind of going off on his own thing. And so he seems unsatisfied with the status quo with his job.
So like if I threw like a chair at him or something, it's not going to change anything.
No, it wouldn't.
Okay, cool. That's all right. That's Adam being curious, not Jacob. Okay. Jacob's going to listen to this and he's going to go, I don't get it, but maybe it's not for me to get. Maybe it'll make more sense later.
That's fair. And with that, the three of you listen to this teacher rant and rave. The longer you listen to him, the more like Alex Jones he sounds. Yeah. The spirit wardens are turning the frogs gay. Things like that.
Birds aren't real.
But yeah, we are at the end of our session, so you guys spend some time with the teacher, are introduced to him. You're reminded that he is seeking tenure, and we will see if he achieves tenure next time on Sins and Consequences, where we will probably begin with our meeting with the Circle of Flames.
Ooh.
I suspect. Because you guys have a meeting coming up in the next couple of days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a night there. Thank you so much for listening. I know I made a joke about it earlier, but you should check out the Patreon. Kyle the Red Beer puts out monthly art to check out. We also have a couple of exclusive shows, including one coming up, GM'd by Adam. You'll see Sean
that's
and
me.
I in that one. Yeah, Adam's there. He's the GM for that one. It's more Shadowrun Anarchy. Which is pretty rad. I'm a player in that game, so is Sean. And then we also have a couple of special guests. We have Ridium from the Pride Against Prejudice podcast, and we have Dr. Friendship from what's it called? Sinless. Yes, which is actually a rad podcast. I've listened to the first couple episodes. I'm enjoying it so far.
They've only got a couple of episodes out. I think it's only like 100 and something.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, what? Yeah, I saw more than a couple.
I think it's like 100 something, and like they're starting season 3 very soon, and it's there's a lot, dude. He's been going for a couple years.
Yeah. No spoilers. I haven't got that far yet. I'm on season 1 still. But yes. Yeah. Check that out. And go to the YouTube and say disparaging or kind things about me in the comments, and I will reply. because we need more comments. We need more engagement from you guys. I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. But with all that being said, I won't beg you for any more money or time or anything like that. But I will thank you all and have a great night. Toodaloo.